Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I loved it.
My name's Jay Milne. #Blue.
Our sports update deliverer, the Koob.
I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up today. You know what, Reid? You might be on to
All right, here's what's going on in the Nets.
Yeah, so who are the Oilers playing tonight? Hockey club. Yeah, but who are they playing? Hockey club. Yeah, I know they have a game. Who are they playing? The hockey club. Dude, just tell me the name of the team they're playing. Hockey club. It is the Oilers against the Utah Hockey Club tonight at 7 at Rogers Place. The Oilers chasing their third consecutive victory. The hockey club chasing a playoff spot. Utah, 71 points. They are 2 points behind Vancouver, who holds the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. Vancouver, 73 points, and Utah and Calgary both with 71. St. Louis also with 73, but Vancouver has the spot on the tiebreaker. The Oilers, 39-24-4, 1 point ahead of the Los Angeles Kings for second in the Pacific. The Kings do have a game in hand. The Oilers will get Mattias Ekholm back in action tonight. Zach Hyman also returns after missing one game. Also an interesting note here that should have something to do with Connor McDavid. The teams in the Olympics in 11 months are going to name the first 6 members of their teams in June. I would obviously expect Connor McDavid to be one of the pre-selected players for the Canadian roster. We'll talk about that as we move along throughout the afternoon. Those are your headlines presented by the Nate. Trust me, I got it here somewhere. The Nate Construction and Leadership and Supervision Program. Nate's Construction Leadership and Supervision Program, a perfect tool for professionals looking to advance their role or an organization needing to develop leaders. For more information and to register, visit nate.ca/CLSP to take your career to another level. So it's a 7 o'clock game. We will have a couple of special guests on the show to preview it. You'll hear some clips from head coach Chris Knobloch, from Mattias Ekholm, from Jeff Skinner, who will start the game on a line with Connor McDavid this evening. So, man, oh man, he has been all over the lineup, including out of the lineup at times. But tonight, he's with McDavid and Hyman. Calvin Pickard, your expected starter in net for the Oilers, and it'll be Vejmelka coming in for the hockey club. 6 o'clock, by the way, will be our GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. So I'm with you until 5:55, and then Tom and Hernan take over, and Tom's going to hop on the show with me as well for his portion of the preview at 5:20. He was at the morning skate this morning. How you doing, everybody? I'm Reid Wilkins. Jason Milne is off for a couple more days. Zachary Kubusch is here as well doing the technical work, and he'll also be your sports update deliverer. I am always happy to hear from you, of course. You can email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Yesterday, probably because it was St. Patrick's Day, I had limericks aplenty from listeners, which was pretty cool. Hopefully there's no limerick fatigue, and I'll still get a few today. You can text the program, 780-218-9999. The afternoon inbox presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 Restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. If you're listening to the show through one of the audio streams, awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. Subscribe to it or favorite it or whatever you do on that particular app. You got TuneIn Radio. You got iHeartRadio. You can just go to our website and follow stuff, listen to stuff, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. If you also would like a video element of the show or you're already on YouTube, Edmonton Sports Talk is the channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Encourage other people to subscribe to the channel. And remember, give us a thumbs up if you are there as well. Click that little A button like Fonzie, right? Do people know who Fonzie is, do you think, Koob? Did you know who Fonzie was?
I have a brief idea of who Fonzie is. I know
You have
he
a
is,
brief
good with the
idea.
thumbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know the actor?
No.
Henry Winkler. Here's
Really?
okay, random quiz for people. You can't win anything. Random quiz. What I want to say, I think it was late 90s. What late 90s horror film was Henry Winkler in? What late 90s horror film was Henry Winkler in? I'm going to get confused now in the nasty chat because I already put in our off-topic topic, which is movie-related as well. Anyway, if you're taking us in on YouTube, you can talk with me and, more importantly, with each other. The nasty chat kind of has a life of its own there as well. And give us the thumbs up. And as we always say, tell a couple people in your life about Edmonton Sports Talk, about the Reid Wilkins Show, all our other great programming. And let's keep building our audience. We're a little over a year and a half in now to Edmonton Sports Talk. I'm a little over half a year in with Jay. This is a great place to work. It's a great station. We got you covered in a lot of different ways. So click away. Give us the thumbs up, build the algorithm, and try to bring other people into our awesome community. All right. It was Scream. Henry Winkler, was he not the principal of the school? Was it Woodborough High School? And he was one of the victims of Ghostface in that movie. Remember, didn't Ghostface come out from behind the door in his office? Koob is like shaking his head and he's like, Reid, you are such an old man. There were movies in the late 90s. There were. We had to put like a quarter in the machine and turn the crank ourselves to get the reel going. But there were movies in the late 90s.
That would have been a real good time to be around. Yeah.
Yes. Castor, 1990. Oh, what did I do here? Touch my computer screen. Castor, 1990. Fonzie famously jumped the shark in the Happy Days episode that saw the quality drop afterwards, hence the phrase, jump the shark. That is true. I believe the story is that they were running out of ideas for Happy Days or the ratings were falling. So they said, let's have Fonzie do a stunt where he jumps his motorbike, I believe, over a shark tank, and it was just kind of a stunt to bring in ratings. And when Happy Days was already in decline in terms of the quality anyway. So now when a show is starting to go downhill or does something kind of gimmicky, they say the show has jumped the shark. Now, this show gets accused of that pretty much every day. So you can jump the shark and still keep going. So that's pretty good. Didn't they come up with a phrase as well? Does anybody remember the fourth Indiana Jones movie? What was it called? Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Hernan? Any of them? It is rare. In moments in which I am completely speechless are rare. You haven't even seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? I can loan it to you on VHS. We're going to have a viewing party for Hernan to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think the fourth one was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and that's the one where he was on a nuclear testing site at the beginning because it's set in the 1950s. And to survive a nuclear blast, because he just happened to be there when there was a nuke being tested, he got into a fridge. And a lot of people thought that was silly. And for a while, I think they nuked the fridge, replaced the phrase, they jumped the shark. Anyway, where were we, Koob? We have a game tonight. Here's how the Oilers are expected to line up. McDavid between Jeff Skinner and Zach Hyman, who's back after missing a game. Draisaitl, will he get 50 tonight? I say that he does. Draisaitl between Perry and Brown. Nugent Hopkins at center with Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Henrique with Janmark and Kapanen. Jones and Derek Ryan, the scratches. Derek Ryan has been called up. He did take the morning skate. Ekholm is back. Of course, he is with Bouchard. Nurse and Wallman together, so Wallman will play the offside. He'll play the right side. He shoots left. Kulak with Emberson. Stetcher and Klingberg are the scratches. So those are the Oilers' 6 best defensemen playing in this game tonight. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, and Emberson. If you're going to troll me and say that Evan Bouchard is not one of the Oilers' top 6 defensemen, I'm not going to have a lot of time for you. He's better than Stetcher and Klingberg. Pickard, the starter in net. A little bit surprised about that. We'll talk about that as we move along throughout the afternoon. So Stuart Skinner will be the backup. Utah, Kerfoot, Keller and Schmaltz is the top line. They have Sergachev and a guy who was briefly Oilers property, John Marino on defense. Vejmelka is the expected starter in net. Former Edmonton Oil King Dylan Gunther will play right wing on the second line with Barrett Hayton at center and Logan Cooley on the left side. We'll run down those whole pairings as we move along as well. All right. We got to do Mystery Athlete of the Game, Koob. It is a game day. Every game day, we give away a $25 gift card to Hudson's, Canada's Pub. So I'm going to give a clue. And then later on in the show, I'll give another clue. I will give a maximum of 5 clues. You must text your guesses to the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999. That is the only way by which we accept guesses. So don't bother putting them in the nasty chat or emailing me. You have to text them, and you have to have a maximum of 3 guesses, right? So, and it's pretty easy for me to keep track of that. So the first clue is Anton. All right? The first clue is Anton. Hudson's Canada's Pub. You're invited down tonight for the Oilers game. You can also go to Hudson's Canada's Pub Fridays and Saturdays, 9 p.m. After 9 p.m., it's the late night happy hour specials. Food starting at $4, drinks from $3.75. Book your reservation now at hudsonscanadaspub.com. The Big Uke has already guessed David Beckham. It is not David Beckham. I can tell you that. So there's a bonus clue. It's not David Beckham. Because there was one day it was Jonathan Quick, and everybody decided that it was David Beckham. There was some sort of groupthink going on, and people were quite upset that it was not David Beckham, which it was not. The Koob and I are conducting an experiment. So, did Hernan say, oh? Yeah, so what we did was we put this old slice of bread in Hernan's locker, okay? And we're going to see how moldy it can get. The actual experiment that we're doing, and I guess we won't really start getting any results until Thursday. And we were talking about this on the show yesterday, and then we're sitting in the bullpen earlier today, and we said, okay, we got to do it. And it was pretty easy to do it because Matthew Awanek, our Koo, our chief operating officer, sent us a link for an NCAA pool, an NCAA bracket pool. So what Koob and I did was we picked the favorite in every game for the entire tournament, right? So we didn't pick any upsets, not even a number 9 seed over an 8 or a 10 over 7. We picked 1 over 16, 2 over 15, 3 over 14, on and on. And then the second round, 1 over 8, 2 over 7. So then when it got to the final 4, we had our 4 number 1 teams in the final 4, the 4 number 1 seeds from each region. So then we just looked at the final Associated Press rankings for the teams, and we went by who was higher. So we have Duke winning the tournament because they're the highest ranked one. So let's see how we do. So this will be a bit of an experiment, Koob, because maybe it's not worth picking upsets. Maybe you're just better off saying, forget about it. I'm not going to try to pick which, like, yes, a 12 always beats a 5, but I'm not going to try to guess which one. I'm just going to guess the better team in every game. Maybe that's a better way to do it.
Well, the smart assumption would be that the majority of, I guess, a favorite entering a matchup is a favorite and should
for
win,
a reason,
right?
and should win the majority of the time.
Right. At least, I'm
if
hoping for at least 95%.
Yeah, it
right?
wouldn't be as high as that in that. Because, an 8 versus a 9, a 7 versus a 10.
It's too close. Yeah.
We're going to see. I mean, maybe it'll be worth it just to pick the favorite in every game, as opposed to trying to chase upsets. And it's like, oh, there was an upset of a 12 over a 5, but not the one that I picked. So now I got 2 out of the 4 wrong instead of just 1 out of the 4.
And especially like with March Madness, because there is always those upsets that do inevitably happen. People might overthink it when they're making their bracket.
Right.
So it could prove that for sure.
All right. So that is what we learned yesterday, that is called the control group. Am I using that term? People who texted in yesterday will tell us.
So we're sports scientists.
Right. We are sports scientists. Thank
it's
you.
Our control group, yeah.
Hey, Hernan, can you bring me my lab coat and my stethoscope? And my microscope? I'm just going to have a microscope sitting next to me on the desk here. All right. Yes, a lot of people texted in as well. Henry Winkler was the principal in Scream. Oh, including Lost Aussie Marcus, who I met yesterday. lives out near Viking, and we talked a lot about the Oilers, and we talked about Australian rules football, which he follows. So I think he told me he's lived in Canada for about 20 years. So anyway, we'll see how our control group does. There's something we can follow up on as we move through the NCAA tournament. A little fun thing for Koob and I, and hopefully some of you to do as well. Jeff Skinner asked today, after a guy who's been scratched playing lower in the lineup, played pretty good against the Rangers on McDavid's line tonight. He was asked how he keeps getting ice time.
Try and impact the game in a positive way. I think it's. I mean, I think our lineup's been pretty fluid the whole season. The guys play with everyone. I think that I'm comfortable playing with everyone on the team, and I mean, I think you try and do your best to help the team win in whatever role you have, and I'm no different than anyone else, I think, in that regard.
I seem to get the sense from social media today, which is not the be-all and end-all of how people think, but I got the sense there was a lot of people hoping Jeff Skinner does well with Connor McDavid. I know there's been a sense with some people who have listened to the show, that Jeff Skinner has been treated unfairly by Chris Knobloch this season. I wouldn't say that I see it that way, but I'll tell you what, we got, how far are we from the playoffs, Koob? About 15 games? We've got 15 regular season games left. It's not very many. If he puts it together down the stretch and in the postseason, no one's going to care about the first 60 games. That's where the Oilers are at now. They should make the playoffs. I checked the odds today. If you like this kind of stuff, Money Puck has the Oilers at 98.8% in the playoffs. The Hockey Reference playoff probability page has the Oilers at 99.8% in the playoffs. So barring a complete disaster, like going 3-12 or something, they will be in. And it's going to be a chance for some players to put a shine on their seasons if they come through in the postseason. I think Jeff Skinner is one of those. And we'll hear from Knobloch talking about his game when we get to the Oil Understood as we move along throughout the afternoon. Time to shift gears quickly here. This will be a fun one, Koob. You like having fun? This is going to be it, baby. The off-topic topic for William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website, williamhuff.com, or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. I know other shows on this station have been discussing this movie today. It is a sequel to a movie. I didn't even check the original year. 96, maybe? When did it come out? Happy Gilmore came out in 1996. Happy Gilmore 2 comes out later this year. July 25th, I guess on Netflix only, but it's got Adam Sandler in it. It's got a lot of the cast back, including Julie Bowen. What was that show she was in, Hernan? Family Guy? Modern Family? Modern Family. Julie Bowen. She was in it, and she's in Happy Gilmore too. And she was in the first Happy Gilmore. She's the love interest. Hernan is like, why is he talking to me? It's because there's one fewer person in the studio. I'm lonely. So Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out. I would say my excitement level for this film is relatively low, though I realize I have some colleagues and probably some of you who are very excited about it. So the off-topic topic for William Huff is, for what movie would you most like to see a sequel? What movie needs a sequel and why? 780-218-9999 is how you text the River Crew Resort and Casino inbox. You can email me, Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and you can put it in the nasty chat. The Big Uke, we need to see Forrest Gump 2. See how he dealt with raising a child and the kid finding out his dad was such a badass. Scotty Knows says Godfather 3 needs a sequel. Strudwick already has a script, I bet. Wow, that's intense. I'd love to see Jason Strudwick write a script. It would probably be about him being the hero. Somebody wants to see a Cable Guy too. So we'll see what we get. I know many of you are very creative, and many of you, well, we have a good one right here. Tanya Baker, I think is how it's pronounced. I've never seen this person in the Nasty Chat before. Just put Titanic. Titanic. The rise of the Titanic. It comes out of the ocean as some big sea creature or something like that. So what movie needs a sequel and why is our off-topic topic for William Huff. Utah in a playoff chase. They're not bad. They're 30-26-11. The Oilers trying to fight for home ice advantage in the first round. They're 39-24-2. We're going to have Ryan Miller, who covers Utah. I think Ryan has covered a lot of the Utah Jazz. Now he's covering the hockey club, so we'll see how that transition has gone for him as well. Keep your feedback, your suggestions, your comments, your jokes coming in, and I'll give clue number 2 in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game, probably around 4 o'clock, if I remember. The first clue was Anton. Oh, okay, yes, now I remember you, Tanya. Sorry. I have a very poor memory, especially when it comes to meeting people, so don't be offended. And I've met a lot of people since starting at Edmonton Sports Talk, in my defense. So the first clue, I got to put this in, first clue for Mystery Athlete of the Game is Anton. All right, I've kept the Koob waiting long enough. Here's a sports update.
The Oilers are seeking 3 straight wins. Zach Hyman and Mattias Ekholm returned from injury to get back in the lineup as they battle the hockey club. Plus, Derek Ryan heads to the press box. He's been recalled from the Bakersfield Condors, recording 8 points in 13 HL games this season. Tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show as Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas go live at 6 to preview the action right here on EST. In Vancouver's Connor Garland is a game-time decision against the Jets. We also see Dallas hosting Anaheim, the Blues taking on the Preds, and the Flames battling the Rangers on a 9-game NHL slate. Miro Heiskanen continues to recover from his knee surgery. Stars head coach Pete DeBoer saying that he has a, quote, realistic possibility that he won't be back until the second round of playoffs. Heiskanen has missed play since late January. And it's Raptors off day. 4 games shaken down in the NBA. Nets and Celtics hit the court. Cleveland visits LA to challenge the Clippers. The Bucks take on the Warriors, and the Hawks meet the Hornets. And the Jays are in action tonight against the Orioles. Left-handed pitcher Eric Lauer starts on the mound. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Visit their website at advantagesportmed.ca. Reid rolls on with the show, talking more Oilers on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
2 guys and a goalie.
Under 58.5. He's going to play the last game.
They won't let him go for 60.
They will.
No.
Connor will say, yeah, we're going to go for 60. Not that he doesn't look for him every time anyway to pass the puck, but it'll be even more.
And you're still saying fire it, Cass.
At 60, I'm firing it.
You guys both don't believe in Leon Draisaitl. Noted.
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
UFC 314 goes down at the Canadian Brewhouse on April 12th. Watch every knockout on the most TVs with epic food and drinks in the best atmosphere. Don't miss the action. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
It's time for a wing throwdown at the Canadian Brewhouse. Fuego Verde versus Honey Blaze. Who's got the best flavor? Come taste the heat and get your wing fix anytime. Plus 69-cent wings all day Wednesdays. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
Is this Jay Milne's band? Now, is this Brody or North Shore?
North Shore, baby.
So that's the second album because they changed their name, right? North Shore is the second one?
Yes.
All right. Who is that? Jay bellowing like that?
Oh, yeah, he's getting into it.
He is a vocal stylist. That is very, very true. All right, Jay Milne. I think Jay Milne's back on Thursday. I think he's back Thursday and Friday, and then he's off 3 more days next week. So I'll have some shows, just me and the Koob hanging out. I'm going to have a special guest scheduled to come in tomorrow and sit with me for probably 2 or 3 segments. So that'll be fun. Former sports broadcaster in the city of Edmonton and a big mentor of mine. So that's going to be fun. Of course, we'll be breaking down whatever happens in tonight's Oilers game. They're taking on Utah at 7 o'clock at Rogers Place. We have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show coming up at 6. If you're in the nasty chat, thank you so much. You guys make me laugh. I wish I could just read every comment, but I'd be giggling like a schoolboy the entire time. Give us the thumbs up. If everybody gave us a thumbs up right away, we'd be into word of the day territory easily. So don't delay. Click that thumb. Give me that instant gratification.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
That's probably the greatest thing I've ever done, is that little song. Norman Akombai texting in. He says, bring in movies for Hernan to watch during the Oiler games. Probably counterproductive to Hernan being able to talk about the games after. Norm did put a ha-ha after that one. Spency 5 Sensey. The off-topic topic for William Huff. What movie needs a sequel and why? Over the Top 2, still not over. Why? Because it was one of the most underrated 80s movies. In the sequel, Stallone dies in a tragic workout accident. His son honors him by training to compete and win in the World Arm Wrestling Championship. Yes, Over the Top was a movie about competitive arm wrestling. It was the 1980s. It made a lot of sense at the time. A lot of guesses for the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. Everybody's wrong. Well, everybody's wrong. I'm sorry. Well, the first clue is Anton. Everybody is incorrect. That's all I'll say. So now those people who guessed the incorrect answers got a clue because they sent in the wrong thing. It's all right. RC, where's this one? RC in Lander says the sequel I've been waiting for, Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. Although I don't think anybody but John Candy could do justice to Barf. The Chewbacca satirical character in Spaceballs 2 was named Barf. Again, it was the 1980s. It made sense at the time. Spency 5 Cents, he says I didn't read his text right. Tragic. Oh, the Stallone character dies in a tragic truck driving / workout accident. And Tanya says, also, I don't think the Fast and the Furious has been given enough airtime. How many Fast and Furious movies are there? Are there not 10? Do they still need more sequels? I guess they need to keep taking money. I got to admit, if I were 12 years old, I'd probably be excited for every Fast and the Furious movie. I feel like I've moved past that in my life. How many Fast and Furious movies are there? I have not seen a single one, but I know there are some channels. It seems to be on some channel straight through the entire weekend. So I guess they're more popular and there's a larger audience for them than just me. Jeremy says, did they ever make a sequel to that Police Academy movie? It would be cool to see what they got up to. Sure would be. Jeremy, that's funny. You get a bonus point for making me chuckle today. I think there were at least 5 police academies. There might have been 6 or 7. All right, so people are having fun with that. Before I get into some more Oilers stuff here, well, this is still an Oilers-related topic, but I hate to alarm you. I got to thinking today, and I mentioned this off the top of the show, that they will name 6 members of the Canadian Olympic hockey team in June. Well, they'll name 6 for each country in June. And then they're going to name the remainders of the rosters by the end of December. So this is a variation on what they did for the Four Nations face-off. I think didn't they name 5 players for that? So Canada will get 6 players named to the Olympic team in June. So my question to you is, who will those 6 players be? Because to me, there are 4 automatics, if I'm not forgetting anybody. And then I wonder which way they're going to go in terms of, I guess in terms of do they name a goaltender or not. Now, Brad Marchand was pre-named to the roster for the Four Nations face-off. I don't think that he will be afforded that luxury in June. I don't think. I could be wrong. So my 4 automatics for Team Canada that you named to the team in June are Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, and I'm still putting Crosby on there. Now, maybe some people are going to say, like, no, but I mean, Crosby was still very, very good in that tournament. So I would put Crosby on the team. I would have McDavid, McKinnon, Makar, and Crosby. Lawrence just put in the nasty chat those same 4 as the automatics. But they're going to name 2 more, okay? They're going to name 2 more. They're naming 6. So here's some of my out loud musings about this. Do they name Jordan Binnington to the team? I was talking about this with my friend Matthew Iwanek before the show, and he said, I think they stay away from goaltending because it can be such a volatile position. And I said, fair enough, but the counter to that is the Canadian goaltending silo, whatever you want to call it, is perhaps not overflowing with excellence. I mean, a lot of good goaltenders, but maybe not some of the great goaltenders that Canada has had in years past. Binnington was sensational when it mattered the most in the Four Nations face-off. And do you just name him to the team and say, okay, you're one of the 3? Like, we're naming you to the team, so we're believing that you're going to be the guy, but there are still 2 other goaltending spots up for grabs, but we want you on that roster because of how you've played in big games before, okay? I would lean towards doing that if it were me. For the Canadian players that are going to be pre-named to the Olympic team in June. I would lean towards putting Binnington on and saying, we believe in you. You don't have to play your way back to that spot. You got an .880 save percentage for the St. Louis Blues. We still trust you because of how you've played in big games and in big tournaments in the past. Okay?
Well, and it's also like, who else? What other goaltender could possibly?
None. But it doesn't. But it doesn't have to be a goaltender.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a goaltender. It doesn't have to be a goaltender.
No, I know for sure. It could be anybody, any 6 players. You can name 3 goalies
right.
if you wanted to.
No one's pushed back on me yet. I think the 4 automatics are McDavid, McKinnon, Makar, and Crosby. I think Crosby's still on the. He's still excellent, right? And again, he was one of Canada's better players in the Four Nations faceoff. I mean, he might have. That's one of the best empty net goals I've ever seen scored against Finland, where he body checked the guy, knocked down the puck with his hand, and shot it into the empty net. I see most people now. Again, this is just us talking, so people are welcome to have dissenting opinions. most people seem on board with Binnington. Okay? You don't have to agree with me. Like this isn't for the sake of let's get mad at each other. This is for the sake of let's discuss it. And maybe I'm missing somebody else. So let's say we go McDavid, McKinnon, Makar, Crosby, and Binnington. I would guess the sixth player is going to be Braden Point. I would guess it's going to be Braden Point. Okay, Cooper's coaching the team again. He's an elite player. He's had playoff success. He was on the Four Nations face-off team. He's got some versatility to his game. So if it were me, I would think right now, and we're still doing this 3 months in advance of the advanced roster, but for fun, I think it would be Point. Matthew Iwanek said, do they name Pietrangelo? And I said no, because he didn't play in the Four Nations face-off. And would Hockey Canada hold that against him a little bit? Maybe. They might. I got a what-if for you. What if the LA Kings are excellent in the playoffs and Drew Doughty's playing his mind out? I mean, could he still be named ahead of time? I'll throw in another name that I think is a pretty strong possibility, and this might be partially because of who he plays with in the National Hockey League, though he's a very good player in his own right, and that's Taves from the Avalanche. So do you just say, all right, McDavid, you're on. Crosby, you're still awesome. You're on. McKinnon, you're awesome. Makar, you're on because you're awesome, but you're awesome in the pairing with Taves. Both you guys are on. And Binnington, we don't really care how you play on November 2nd on the road against Nashville. We know you're awesome in big games. You're on the team. So I think it's David, McKinnon, Makar, Crosby, Binnington, and then I would say probably Point, but then with Taves as maybe a strong possibility. Big Uke is putting Reinhart and Morrissey on the roster. I thought about Morrissey as well. Pretty good opportunity. Pizza Boy says, I don't think they would take 3 players from one NHL team in the first 6. That's a fair point. But then again, like it's a Hockey Canada event, not an NHL All-Star event where some years you could only have a certain number of players per team. Mike, the Michigan fan, has Parayko and Point on the team. Parayko had a good tournament. He's banged up now, isn't he, Koob? Is he out the rest of the regular season? I think he is. Anyway, fun discussion. I think we can very much expect McDavid to be on that list, and then we'll see who else we're going to get.
He will be reevaluated in about 5 weeks. He had his left knee scoped March 7th. They announced that it'll be 6 weeks until a reevaluation. So he's not deemed out complete. Well, I guess, they're close to the playoffs, but not yet in it for Colton Parayko there.
I'm a little bit stunned as to how many people are agreeing with me on Binnington. I'm not used to that. I thought I would get more pushback on that. But I guess given how he played, and again, there's 3 goals. You're not saying you're the starting goaltender. We're just saying we trust you in big events.
Well, would Logan Thompson kind of be the only other goalie that you could really argue with the season that he's been having for the Capitals?
Okay, well, here's the thing. What if Hill goes lights out in the playoffs like he did a couple years ago?
Exactly. That's why, he was
back. Like we're doing an advance. But I think right now, even it just says in June. It didn't say what date. But we're about 3 months ahead of it. But I think even being 3 months ahead of seeing, okay, so Crosby's not going to be in the playoffs. Let's say McDavid, Makar, and McKinnon all get swept in the first round. It doesn't matter. They're still on the Canadian team, right? Maybe if there's a goaltender that does it, or a guy like Doughty that plays excellent, maybe they get advanced named in June. But I think those 4 are shoo-ins, and then we're having some fun debate about the other 2 guys to round out the 6. All right, continue to hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. We're going to have comments from Chris Knobloch, from Mattias Ekholm, and from Jeff Skinner as we roll along. Ryan Miller, not the former goaltender. He's a broadcaster who covers the Utah Hockey Club. He's going to check in as well. Here comes the Koob.
Seeking 3 straight wins, the Oilers welcome back Zach Hyman and Mattias Ekholm from injury to battle the Hockey Club Plus, Derek Ryan heads to the press box. He's been recalled from the Condors, recording 8 points in 13 AHL games this season. Tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show as Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas go live at 6 to preview the action right here on ESPN. Vancouver's Connor Garland is a game-time decision against the Jets. We also see Dallas hosting Anaheim, the Blues taking on the Preds, and the Flames battling the Rangers on a 9-game NHL slate. Miro Heiskanen continues to recover from his knee surgery. Stars head coach Pete DeBoer saying that he is, quote, realistic possibility that he will not return until the second round of playoff action. Heiskanen has been out since late January. And it's a Raptors off day. 4 games shaking down. Nets and Celtics hit the court. Cleveland visits LA to challenge the Clippers. And the Bucks take on the Warriors as the Hawks meet the Hornets. The Jays are also in action against the Orioles. Left-handed pitcher Eric Lauer starts on the mound. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since '93. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, they got plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. Ryan Miller joins us to give a Utah perspective of the matchup shaking down tonight. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Do you have pets? Horses? Chickens? Did the place you used to get your feed recently close down? Have no fear. Clover Bar Feeds is here. Whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or chickens, Clover Bar Feeds has you covered. Offering a large variety of food and feed, you can trust the experts at Clover Bar Feeds. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. This means you can expect nothing less than top-notch service and selection. Come visit them at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park or visit them online at cloverbarfeeds.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know. All right, great to have you tuning in this afternoon. Oilers game day playing the Utah Hockey Club tonight. Third and final meeting of the season between the two teams. The Oilers up 4-1 in the season series. They've won both. The one game was in overtime. Nuge got the game winner back in November. We're in the Canadian Brew House studio. Great to have them on board as the studio sponsor. If you're craving a quick bite, try the Canadian Brew House Express Lunch. Served in under 15 minutes or it's free. Try the ribeye smash burger or turkey club sandwich Monday to Friday until 2 p.m. The Oilers coming off a couple of sort of lower scoring victories in New York over the Islanders and the Rangers in their last two games. Utah in a real fight for the playoffs. That'd be something if they could get in their first season in Salt Lake City, to discuss that and more. He covers the hockey club for KSL.com. Ryan Miller checking in, right? Everybody was like, oh, the goalie. Well, not to disappoint them. Well, maybe you are a goalie. I don't know.
No, I was not, and I'm sorry to disappoint them. I am not the goalie.
You must get a lot of that, though. You must get a lot of that.
Never before this year, my friend, ever. Like, I always knew about Ryan Miller, obviously, but like, never have those jokes been made in Utah. But now it is. Every media person that comes in, every time I travel, it's like, not the guy that almost got traded to the Blackhawks 1,000 times. Not like, so yeah, it's but it's been fun to have the little name joke.
Are you on this road trip? Are you in Edmonton right now? I can't quite tell where you are.
I'm in Edmonton, sitting in a hotel room, waiting to get over to the arena soon enough. So, yeah.
Okay, well, let's get to know you a little bit, because I enjoy people's stories, and I know our listeners always enjoy finding out people's backgrounds a little bit and their career journeys. So, like, where did you grow up, and what got you into the bug to cover sports for a living?
I grew up in Utah, born and raised there. I am 5'5", and I realized if I wanted a career in sports of some kind, it wasn't going to be playing it in any way. So, started writing, and then I just got captured with stories. And really, when it comes to like writing news, it's either you can write news or you can write features and profiles, and that's always what I enjoyed more on. And I realized that that's sports reporting, and this essentially is you just get to tell stories of really cool people. And so that's really what dragged me to it. And how I ended up with the hockey team is I covered the Jazz, and they're owned by the same person. So they're like, hey, you know the same people, just Jazz are bad, so you can just do both. So we'll see how long this lasts. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been fun.
So what, if anything, and it's not as if Salt Lake City hasn't had hockey teams before. So what was your relationship with the NHL and the sport of hockey before getting the hockey clubs beat?
You know, it's really interesting. Growing up, like, if you would have talked to me, like, late 90s, early 2000s, when I was, just in high school, being a kid, like, I would have known everything about the league. Like, all the big players, everything. And I don't know what happened, but it just seemed like in Utah, especially, it just became like almost inaccessible if like you didn't willingly like go and search for things. And I don't know if that was the ESPN contract or whatnot, but it really did seem like it took a big dive in the state. And it also might have been like, I'm no longer a kid. I have my own interests, but it really did seem like there was a drop off of like people talking about it, caring about it. But then, as soon as those rumors started flying, even like a few years ago, like, oh, Ryan Smith really does want to bring a team, seemed like everyone just kind of like jumped on and like started paying attention to the league. Be like, okay, if we're the Coyotes, let's see what this team is all about. And so it's been fun to see like the state embrace the sport, because that's one thing about Utah. We're extremely proud of anything that is semi-related to the state. And we're like, if you watch the Winter Olympics, you'll always be like, this person's from Oregon. And we'll be like, nuh-uh, they trained in Park City. They're ours. And so we'll claim everything and anything that we can. And, having a real major league sport again, besides the Jazz. So everyone just hopped on, and well, I'm curious to see how big it will get. Like all the games are sold out. Obviously, it's the first one. I don't know television ratings or anything like that, but I think it'll just continue to grow from here on out as people continue to learn the sport, continue to get to know these guys. And because, it's an easy team to root for, an easy coach to root for. So I think it'll just keep on keeping on.
All right. Before I get into some of the on-ice stuff, which I want to get to, because this is even last year with the Coyotes, I thought like they could play offense, but they couldn't play defense. They did beat the Oilers a couple times late last season. What's your sense of what the team is going to be called once they iron all this out?
Oh, man. Well, they got 3 options. I know there was some reporting earlier today that they're down to the Mammoth. That's just not true. It could be. Who knows? But yeah, it's down to three options for now. If you're looking at fan voting, I think the Mammoth is pretty heavily favored. I've been pretty open that I've thought this was all a charade to begin with, and that they know that. So I think they wanted to be the Yeti. That blew up when the Yeti Cooler Company didn't want to sign negotiation agreements. But I've always had a hunch that they've liked Hockey Club. I really do. Like, like the organization, maybe just the owner of the organization. I think they kind of just really enjoy that. So it wouldn't shock me if that ends up being it. But I would guess it would be between the Mammoth and Hockey Club right now. But yeah, like to be fair, I am so ready for that to just be over. Like the amount of trademark laws and the stuff that I've dug into over the last year is just insane. I'm like, but like, it's been fun. Don't get me wrong. But like, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, just name the dang team and let's call it a day. Like, because I'm on record that all sports names are stupid until you hear them enough times.
Yeah.
And so it's like the San Francisco 49ers comes out today. Everyone's like, the 49ers are the dumb name. Like, Oilers are the dumb name. But like, you hear it enough, it becomes part of your sporting world, and it's all fine. And that's what's going to happen. So but I think they're just extending that pain, I guess. I don't know. And then like you almost have like different groups of fans that are now fighting over the team name, and you're like, just like, name the team, guys. Like, so like, yeah, you have the Tusk Up Mammoth people and the Outlaw people, and it's funny. Like, I understand it's a fun conversation. The funny thing is they don't like the conversation. Like, you talk to the team, they get mad at you whenever like this gets brought up. They're like, we want to focus on the ice, and it's like, well, like, just name the team then. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, you know what people really care about? The team name. Like, unfortunately, they don't know who Michael Kesselring is right now. They probably will in 3. And yeah. Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah, dropping that in there. Okay, well, I got to say, Hockey Club has kind of grown on me. And it's not like it's not like English soccer where 80% of the teams are football club. You know.
And I would have been the guy that'd be like, Hockey Club's a dumb name. And then like, yeah, I've heard it for 8 years or 8 months, written it 1,000 times. It's like, you know what? Yeah, it's fine. Again, because all sports names, once you hear them enough, they're fine. Like, so I think whatever it ends up, everyone will just latch on to it. It'll be great. And I don't know why we've extended this for a year, but it's fine. It's great.
Ryan Miller, KSL.com, joining us today on the Reid Wilkins Show. He covers the Utah Hockey Club. As he told you, he's in Edmonton traveling with the team, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, they're right there. They're in a fight for a playoff spot. It'd be huge for them to get in their first year in a new city. How do they get in? Like, how do they make these final 15 or 16 games, whatever they got left? What puts Utah over the top and gets them that second wild card?
Yeah, I got to give them props. Like, we all looked at Sunday, and I think the team would even tell you this, that it's like, this is a do or die moment. Like, if they lost that Canucks game, 6 points down at that point, it's hard to, like, kind of find an avenue. Now, like, I think they have some losses they can take along the way, as long as it's not from those other 3 teams that they're facing. Really, it comes down to getting consistency back on that first line. It's weird that line has been saving them for most of the year, and then during this last stretch, it's kind of been no-show. You saw in Sunday they tried to switch it up. Mostly it's if you look at Logan Cooley, he was so good in the middle of the season, centering that line, and then he got hurt, comes back, and I think he's not there. I think he is still playing pretty banged up. So they moved him to the wing on Sunday to kind of just be like, hey, not as much responsibility. Let's see if something sparks. And, you know, sometimes it's a stroke of genius. It sparked. He scores a goal. So I think you'll just see some of that. You need some consistency from that line. And really, they've gotten healthy. That's like one of the biggest things is that their blue line was just so beat up earlier in the season. Like your guy, Michael Kesselring, former Oiler, like he was playing top 4 minutes and he probably proved that he could be that guy, but now he's going to be a third guy again. And it's like, so suddenly you're playing 7, 10, 12 minutes instead of 20 plus, and everything just kind of fits in more natural. And so, yeah, they've been good. Like it's funny. If you look at it, doesn't matter who they play. It's going to be a 1-goal game. They rarely get blown out. They rarely blow out. They play a lot of overtime games, and so it's going to be maybe even a little thing as simple as puck luck that gets them into this thing. But they've enjoyed the ride, and props to them. They're like, hey, yes, we know every game we're treating like a Game 7, and I don't know how realistic it is to play a month, 6 weeks worth of Game 7s. But so far they've handled it pretty well. They're not celebrating. They didn't celebrate on Sunday. They're like, okay, next one. Game 7 time. Like, and so I think they have the right mentality. They have enough defensive depth at this point. And now it kind of depends on if their offensive guys can catch fire again.
All right. Dylan Guenther, a former Edmonton Oil King. I loved interviewing and watching him play when he was an Oil King. Got a huge contract earlier this season. Tell us about Guenther's season and his contributions to the hockey club.
He is the most like nonchalant, like potential superstar I think we might ever see. Like that guy I don't think he realizes how good he is at all. And it's like funny because he like, what is he, 21 years old? He's already known for this like insane one-timer from that left circle. And so like how many 20-year-old guys like have a trademark shot, like the OV shot, right? Like, and so, but the fact is that like as good as that is, like he is so much other parts of his game that are just that stand out. Like if you look at some of his game winners, they're not all that one-timer hit. It's him crashing the net, him finding those greasy goals, and then also like if you talk to Andre Tourny, their head coach, like he really thinks he could be one of the best like defensive forwards in the game. And so like he has a great stick, really fast, physical when he needs to be. Like so yeah, he like. The fact that they locked him up for that deal, it might look very, very good. It looks good right now, let alone in 2 years. And so, like, and that's the thing with this team. They're young. like Logan Cooley's 20. Like, if these guys if him and Guenther truly pop and like become these like superstar type players that the organization thinks they can be, like, Utah Hockey Club might be set up for the next decade just with those guys. And so it's like, it's almost unfair. Like I always talk, like I've talked a lot about because I actually went and covered the last Arizona game and it was like this funeral setup. And I felt like almost so bad because it's like, man, you guys went through this hellish rebuild, this long, tumultuous losing after losing. And it's like, all right, Utah, congratulations. You get this super fun up and coming team that like even if they don't make the playoffs this year, it's like, that was a fun ride. We're just right out of it. Just add another, like, I don't know, top 6 center, and we're probably middle of the pack in the West. Like, yeah, it's so I do feel bad, but yeah, like Utah's set up for the long run. They don't really have any bad contracts, have a ton of assets, and so yeah, like you have the Dylan Guenther and Logan Cooley as your potential just building blocks for the next 10 years. So. Yeah, it's a fun to get on the ground floor of a team. So yeah, been a good time.
All right, one more quick one, and I was just Googling to make sure people weren't setting me up to look foolish. I think it's true that people want to know if you became a dance champion. Did you enter some kind of dance competition?
Oh my!
Several years ago. Oh yeah, we got knowledgeable fans here. They don't just look up the other team's players; they look up the other team's media guys.
All right. Well, so I started my career in a little place called Cedar City, Utah, covering the local university there. And, Cedar City is a town of like 25,000 people, college town through and through. Nothing else is going on in their economy. Well, maybe something else is. I never found it. But yeah, so they had a Dancing with the Stars competition. And they used the term stars pretty liberally because I think it was a coworker that, put me up to that. But yeah, so I was it was in a dance contest for a month. That was a good time. Yeah, there you go.
So there is a bit of a story there. All right. Well, hey, great perspective on Utah. I think this game has some potential to see a lot of skill on display this evening, and big game for the Oilers going for second, but Utah has playoff hopes here on the line, so hopefully they're fired up for this one as well. Great to meet you virtually. Hopefully I get you to meet you in person on media level tonight at Rogers Place. Thanks for making time for me, Ryan.
Well, yeah, no problem, man. Great to be on. Have a good one, guys.
That is Ryan Miller checking in, covers the Utah Hockey Club and the Utah Jazz for KSL.com. And if you want to follow him on Twitter, I tweeted out a link to his account as well. Yep. First time I talked to him, a lot of energy, a lot of knowledge there about the hockey club, who are a dangerous team. I mean, this team can score. I think from last year, they didn't always defend well. As he said, they battled through some injuries early this season. And interesting that he mentions Dylan Guenther, the former Oil King, the Edmonton kid, as possibly a cornerstone of, not possibly, he is a cornerstone of the future there for the Utah Hockey Club. All right, we're going to get to the Oil Understood in a couple of minutes, so we'll have clips coming at you from Knobloch and from Ekholm and from Jeff Skinner, who's on McDavid's line tonight. I got to give you the second clue in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. So the second clue is Rookie of the Year. The first clue, Anton. The second clue, Rookie of the Year. Back after the 4 o'clock break.
The Lock Shop. March Madness, the next couple of days. I don't know how much work is getting done. I'll be quite frank. I know, Jake, your boss is online here. I know it. Productivity is going to be at an all-time low at the Coolbet headquarters. We know that much. But this is where the work comes. The days leading up to the tourney, filling out your bracket, picking your spreads, and then come Thursday time, still have your laptop open and enjoy the madness.
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
Someday, you'll be shedding your tears.
A one-of-a-kind retrospective. It's Glass Tiger, This Island Earth, April 4th at River Cree Resort and Casino.
Don't forget me when I'm gone.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Playmore Tables and Games.
Playmore tables and games. Make the most of your bad game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you gotta do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of your bad game. Playmore tables and games.
PlaymoreGames.ca.
Edmonton hosts Utah. Zach Hyman and Mattias Ekholm returning to the Oilers lineup. Derek Ryan has also been recalled from the AHL. He's recorded 3 goals and 8 points in 13 games for the Condors this season. Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas break it all down during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live at 6 right here on EST. 8 other games around the league. The Flames and Rangers have a date. Detroit challenges Washington. Alex Ovechkin just 8 goals away from breaking the all-time scoring record. After that, Winnipeg hits the ice in Vancouver. Connor Garland listed as a game-time decision for the Canucks. In the WHL, Raiders and Warriors matchup, Swift Current meets Regina before the Royals battle the Blazers, having 3 games on tap. And down south, ESPN's Adam Schefter has reported that the Chargers have signed center Andre James, who spent the past 6 seasons with the Raiders. A light NBA slate has Golden State hosting Milwaukee, Brooklyn visiting Boston, the Hawks and Hornets butting heads before the Clippers take on the Cavs. And later, left-handed pitcher Eric Lauer starts on the mound for the Jays as they face the Orioles. I'm Zachary Kubusch. For your sports update, the second hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
Well, this is some rather saucy music, isn't it, Koob? Maybe.
It's called Road Trip.
I bet it is. Yeah, I bet it is. Maybe this is the last one from this particular channel. Okay?
Okay.
Let's give. Great to have Ryan Miller on the show. Covers the Utah Hockey Club for KSL.com out of Salt Lake City. Also covers the Utah Jazz. We have a game at 7 o'clock tonight. Oilers against Utah. 6 o'clock on this very station, Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. 6 o'clock, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Thanks for checking out the program. The first 2 clues in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. Clue number 1 was Anton. Clue number 2, Rookie of the Year. You must text in your guesses to the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant, all you can eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday from 4 to 10 p.m. We do not have a winner. We have several people guessing a name that I thought they might guess. Not that I make the clues to be misleading. I would never do that, Koob. I would never present clues that might make it appear to be another athlete, and then it's the athlete that it is. I would never do that.
I concur. You would. Never. I've never seen it.
Just got a really interesting guess from Mike, the Michigan fan. I don't know how he came up with that one, but Mike, that is not correct either. All right. So, yeah, 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. If you are taking in the show through the YouTube stream, first of all, remember to subscribe to the Edmonton Sports Talk channel, and remember to hit the thumbs up button. We want to get to, preferably, we want to get to 100 and... So we have a double word of the day. We are pretty much exactly halfway there, but we're only the third of the way done the show. So keep clicking away. Don't dilly-dally. Get in there. Click the thumbs up. YouTube Trev in the nasty chat. Man, Reid's making my bath a lot more enjoyable. Great show. You know, you don't have to comment on everything, Koob. Some things you just let stand. Some things you just let stand. Or let bathe. As perhaps Trev is nothing like the afternoon bath for YouTube Trev. Hey, Trev, you want to go grab a pint? But I'm off work around 4. I'm actually bathing at that time, Bill. Okay. Oh, okay. How long are you going to be in the tub for? TBD, brah. Just saying. Nothing like YouTube Trev. You humiliated me in 21 again today.
Me too. I'm starting to be a victim of that as well. I know the tides have kind of turned between you and Trev in the rivalry a little bit.
No, he doesn't. He beats me almost every time.
Almost every time. He had a 21 game.
He had a 24
streak,
game winning streak, and since then I think he's won 3/4 of the games. So yes, I've won more than 0.
Well, to save me some pain, I've stopped counting.
Yeah, I don't know why I count. That's part of the problem. I can't just do it for fun. I have to keep a record of everything. That's what my parents always say to me. They're like, you never relax, even when you're relaxing. I'm like, no, I got to remember.
The numbers, what do they mean?
I'm a weirdo. What can I do? You can email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And, keep participating with me and with other people in the nasty chat. Jason Milne off today, off tomorrow. And we'll rejoin the show for shows on Thursday and Friday. All right, let's talk a little bit more here about your beloved Edmonton Oilers. It is time for the Oil Understood, presented by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel. Understood. Okay, here's the Oilers' expected lineup for this evening. We're going to have McDavid centering Jeff Skinner and Zach Hyman. So Hyman is back. Jeff Skinner goes to the McDavid line. Interesting. Draisaitl, 1 goal away from 50. I think he gets it tonight. Why would you bet against him? He will center Corey Perry and Connor Brown. Nugent Hopkins at center in this one with Podkolzin and Arvidsson. And then Henrique between Janmark and Kapanen. So Max Jones and Derek Ryan will be scratched. Derek Ryan called up from Bakersfield. Ekholm is back. He's with Evan Bouchard, Nurse, and Wallman, two lefties together. So Wallman expected to play on the right side. Kulak with Emerson, Stetcher, and Klingberg, the scratches on defense. Calvin Pickard expected to start in goal. I'm a little bit surprised about that. Stuart Skinner will be the backup. First of all, Mattias Ekholm was interviewed today, and you could basically understand him. He talked about getting his voice back.
That's obviously good. I think they liked it too. I couldn't yell at them. I couldn't tell them anything, right? I was, jokes aside. But yeah, obviously I'm a vocal player out there too, so I need my voice to be out there to be able to communicate. And that's a bigger hurdle than you might think. You're just laughing about it, whatever. Like, yeah, it's a funny voice, but it is harder to play for sure when you can't communicate out there. So I'm happy to have it back.
All right, so Ekholm, yes, he sounded rough for a long time. He expanded, by the way, somewhat on the injury that kept him out of the last half dozen games.
Been battling a little bit of a lower body injury, and it's kept me out, obviously, but you guys have done a great job, and I'm feeling better, so that's exciting.
For a little while since you got to miss that many games, tell me about how excited you were to be back in the lineup here as the team comes home from the road trip.
Yeah, it's hard to watch on TV. I don't really like that at all. You want to be part of it, obviously, and especially during the stretch run coming down here. So I'm happy that I feel better. It was hard to watch, just not being able to be part of it, but I thought they did a good job.
All right. So a little bit there from Mattias Ekholm, as we know, important player for the Oilers. At times has not looked at his regular level, which is really, really high. And I think we've seen that some nights, Mattias Ekholm at 80% of his potential is still a pretty good defenseman. But I do think there have been times we haven't seen him move or be quite efficient as we're used to. He said there he's been getting through a lower body injury. Probably could have flown to New York to play the one game against the Rangers, but they decided not to do that with the travel involved. So he is back in tonight against Utah. And Ekholm was also asked about Jake Wallman, first time he's going to play in the same game as Wallman.
It's been exciting to watch him. I think he's done a great job fitting in with us. I think he plays a great style. He's very sound out there, and he can join the rush and makes good plays out there. So it looks like he's fit right in, and I think we have a strong team. We have about 15 games to go in the regular season. It's time to fine tune those details and make sure we're dialed in come April 17 or whatever it is that the playoffs start. So. Hopefully we get everybody back here sooner rather than later, and we can start building that team game that will make us successful in the postseason.
All right. Well, and that's what we've been talking about. The Oilers got to find that team game. I think it went away for an extended stretch. I would say all of February and the first few games of March. I thought on the road trip, I didn't think they played that bad against New Jersey, but they made some key mistakes and weren't able to score. And then you go up against the Islanders, and I thought they outplayed the Islanders for the most part. Their big guy gets it done in overtime. I just as an aside here, Draisaitl's having such an incredible season. And, we saw that game against the Islanders go to overtime. He scores in regulation time. Early in overtime, the Oilers have an Islanders player who has lost a stick, and then another player block a shot and can hardly stand, and they couldn't score, which was crazy. And then Pickard makes the great play, intercepting the pass, getting it up to McDavid to Draisaitl for the breakaway on the goal. And I was thinking about Draisaitl's season and all the big goals that he scored, late in games, game-winning goals in overtime. And to me, it's as if Draisaitl is kind of like now, at least how he's playing this year. And I know this is, it's obviously not a direct, like totally direct comparison because they are two different sports. But you look at the NFL, a lot of games come down to the final 2 minutes. And you can't really say one team drastically outplayed the other, but one team has a star quarterback and the other team doesn't. And that star quarterback gets it done in late game situations. To me, that's kind of a comparison for how Draisaitl is for the Oilers. There can be a game in which maybe neither team really outplayed the other, or, the Oilers are facing a goaltender who's making a lot of good saves, but Draisaitl's the difference maker. Yes, he has 49 goals. A lot of those are important goals. A lot of those are giving the Oilers the lead, winning games for them in overtime, goals coming at important time. So he kind of reminds me this year of that team that is sort of on par with a lot of other teams. But in the NFL, the team with the star quarterback wins because he drives the ball at the end of the game and wins it. And I think that's sort of what Draisaitl has become for the Oilers this season. I mean, maybe become is not the best choice of words because he has been that in the past. But I think we're really seeing it happen this year. So I still like Draisaitl for the Hart Trophy. I think he's been absolutely exceptional. I think he will get 50 tonight. Talk about the safest prediction I could ever make, eh? The league's goal-scoring leader to score a goal on home ice after he didn't score in the last game. All right, so some thoughts there on Draisaitl. And you heard Ekholm say we got to keep building our game for the playoffs. And Chris Knobloch commenting on how the Oilers can keep building.
Well, I think any successful team it needs to defend really well. And you look at after the break and you look at our chances that we're giving up, especially 5-on-5, and we're looking at probably between 15 and 20 a game. And our goal is somewhere about 10 to 12. And I think every game the last 4, we have been at that mark. And so everything, I think, needs to start with our defensive play, and whether that's our line rush against, our reloads from our forwards, our gaps from our D, our defensive zone coverage, whatever it is, that we're playing well in that area. And then after that, everything else will transpire and build off that. And right now, we'd like some secondary scoring, build off that a little bit. But I think first and foremost, it's how well we defend. Everything else will work out itself out.
All right. Interesting. He gave some numbers there that he said when they weren't playing well, they were giving up 15 to 20 5-on-5 chances against per game. The goal is around 10 to 12. So about a third more than they want to give up 5-on-5. I do think they, certainly the last 2 games, and again, I think most of the New Jersey game, they defended pretty well. He mentioned we're not getting any secondary scoring. So in the meantime, they have to try to find ways to win without that. So that means you can't allow more than a goal or 2 per game. And then even in those cases, sometimes you might still need overtime. I do believe in puck luck. I think Arvidsson got that in his shot against the Rangers. And I talked about this on Friday, and then they continued to do it against the Islanders. I thought they could have done it better against the Devils, and then they started to do it more against the Islanders and against the Rangers. Getting pucks and people to the net. I mean, they beat the Islanders in overtime. With a bounce or 2, they could have got a couple in the third period. Connor Brown driving the net, had to go off his leg and wide. McDavid had a couple of chances on rebounds where he couldn't quite corral the puck. So I do think the Oilers maybe are getting their way back to a simpler, more detailed, more responsible game. I do think we saw that in large stretches against the Islanders and the Rangers, and maybe at some point against the Devils in a game that they wound up losing. So, and Chris Knobloch there, start with the defensive end and then go down to the other end of the ice and see what you can make happen. Jeff Skinner commenting on the Oilers' search for consistency.
Yeah, I mean, I think this time of year, obviously, games tighten up. It's you're kind of fighting for space, sort of everywhere on the ice. Just got to work. I think it's kind of been our mindset, kind of coming through this, is to work through it. And I think there's some good things in our game we can build on, and we're going to try and continue to do that.
All right, we're going to continue the Jeff Skinner discussion when we get back. This is the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel. Jeff Skinner, he's been on every line and he's been scratched. It's been quite a journey for him this season. He's with McDavid at least to start the game tonight. And we know the lines can change quickly, and maybe sometimes with how Skinner has been handled, he doesn't get a lot of chances in games to really prove himself. But he's coming off a strong game against the New York Rangers, drew a couple of penalties, was assessed a penalty that I still really didn't see in that game. But we'll get a little bit more from him. We do not have a winner in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. You must text your guesses to the River Cree Resort and Casino hotline, or the text line 780-218-9999. The clues are, so far, the first of 5, if we need all 5, Anton and Rookie of the Year. Here comes the Koob.
Zach Hyman and Mattias Ekholm are back for the Oilers as they face the hockey club. Derek Ryan has also been recalled from Bakersfield. He played 13 games for the Condors this season, recording 8 points as he heads to the Oilers press box. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show alongside Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they preview the action live at 6 right here on EST. We also see the Canadians meeting the Senators, St. Louis hitting the road in Nashville, and the Red Wings matching up with the Capitals, having 9 total games around the NHL. 4 games in the NBA. Atlanta plays Charlotte. The Celtics meet the Nets, and the Warriors tip off against the Bucks. College action has 2 play-in games. North Carolina has San Diego, and St. Francis visits Alabama State. Spring training sees Toronto take on Baltimore. Eric Lauer being named as the Jays starting pitcher for the contest. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years. Their showroom offers all the best and latest in flooring, tiles, and area rugs. Tell them EST sent you for 10% off your next purchase. You can shop in-store or online at ParamountFlooring.ca. More preview of the hockey club against the Oilers on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you in the loop.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
Someday you'll be shedding your tears.
A one-of-a-kind retrospective. It's Glass Tiger, This Island Earth, April 4th at River Cree Resort and Casino.
Don't forget me when I'm gone.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
Tommy Gunn's Barbershop is more than just a barbershop. It's a top-notch, tailor-made experience from check-in to check-out. Get a precision haircut, a classic shave, or a facial to step up your style. Just walk in, relax, and let Tommy Guns take it from there. Find comfort in knowing their team follows the code, which is their commitment to care for you as a customer. Check out Tommy Guns today, in-store or online at TommyGuns.com to bring out the best in you. Tommy Guns, where every cut is done right every time.
All right. Appreciate you tuning in this afternoon. Our off-topic topic for William Huff. This was inspired by Happy Gilmore coming out. Happy Gilmore 2 coming out this summer. Which movie most needs a sequel? Whistledog says, several years ago, Awanek said that there was a Godfather 4. There was never a Godfather 4. Are they making Godfather 4? But Wanek misleads us all again. Can you believe that, Hernan? Oh, Struddy said it. Okay. Blame Struddy, everybody. Somebody said they want... I can't find it now. Somebody said that they need a sequel to Superbad when they all go to college. Tube Socks wants a sequel to Shakes the Clown. Bobcat Goldthwait. Did he pass away? Or am I thinking of Gilbert Gottfried? Bobcat is still with us. My apologies, Bobcat. Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried passed away a couple years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think 21 or something like that.
Okay. So that's the off-topic topic. Which movie most needs a sequel and why? So a couple suggestions there. The River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Okay, apparently it was Strudwick. So did he think that there was Did he think that there was a Godfather 4, or did he think that there should be a Godfather 4? He actually thought that there was a fourth movie. Hernan's helping me from off camera here. Hernan's like, I'm not even on this guy's show, yet I'm on his show. All right. That provides a little bit of clarity. I can tell you that the game is at 7 o'clock tonight. Utah at the Oilers. Hernan and Tom have the Oil Stream GCL Diesel pregame show at 6. They will hop on right after the game as well with the Oil Stream postgame show to break it down as the Oilers go after their third consecutive win, try to bank more points, and get closer to clinching a playoff spot, which if things go well, maybe they could do, I don't know, in the next 8 to 10 games or so. Some other big games in the Western Conference tonight. I'm going to get to those when we move along and get to our game of the night for Playmore Tables and Games. That's coming up closer to 5 o'clock. Tom Gazzola is going to check in around 5:20. Derek Ryan has been called up from the Bakersfield Condors. He is not expected to play tonight, but here's Chris Knobloch.
Derek Ryan's back with our team, and very good likelihood that he'll be playing games at some point, whether it's injuries or filling in for a role. He does a lot of things. One thing of being a veteran that he is, a smart hockey player, doesn't make very many mistakes, which is important. Now, maybe there's other guys that maybe provide a little more speed, physicality, maybe some more offense. But all-around game, Derek Ryan's as good as anybody in that situation. Another thing that he does a lot for our team, if he does play, is face-offs on the right-hand side. Probably on the right-hand side, he might be the NHL leader on face-offs. I believe he's about 60% on the year, and that's an important factor, especially when the game's late. Key face-offs. He brings a lot of tangibles to our team, like a lot of our forwards do. But I guess we have to decide on what's best for our team, our full group.
All right, so another option, that's how I look at that. Not surprised to see him recalled, especially with their no limit on roster sizes now. I just think that, look, Max Jones is expected not to play tonight. He's a recent addition at the trade deadline. He's been in. He's sat out a couple of times. Trent Frederick will play eventually, probably not in the next week or two, but we should see him at some point, maybe not until closer to the playoffs, but that'll be a guy who will get a spot on the team and push some other people down and have them being competitive for their positions too. So I just think Derek Ryan is perhaps something. Maybe you're playing an opponent where you need to improve the faceoffs. Maybe you need a right shot guy. Maybe you need somebody who can fit in on the penalty kill, depending how a playoff series might be going. So I think that's why Derek Ryan is here. By the way, we are camped out in the Canadian Brew House studio. Big thanks to Canadian Brew House for becoming our studio sponsor. And I can tell you it's time for a wing throwdown at the Canadian Brew House. Fuego, how do you say that again? Fuego Verde?
Fuego Verde.
That means green fire?
Yeah.
How sure are you?
100%.
Versus Honey Blaze. You just said that to make me feel better.
That's right, I think.
Koob's already learning how to get along with me. Just tell Reid you're sure about it. Whenever he questions you. Fuego Verde versus Honey Blaze. Who's taking the crown? Hit up the Canadian Brew House for Wing Night. Our house is your house. Awesome to have the Canadian Brew House sponsoring our studio. So another big story for today is that Jeff Skinner plays on the top line with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman as we move into buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com. Instagram handle is Damon Bunting Real Estate. So I guess I'll do a couple buying or sellings here. Are we buying or selling at this point that Jeff Skinner can become a top 6 player for the Oilers the rest of the way and into the postseason? He has never played a playoff game. Leon Draisaitl, when asked about him a couple of months ago, when Skinner had a good little stretch, was saying, he's had to learn all the things that playoff teams do to be successful. Basically saying this guy's never played really important, meaningful games on a team that's had to dig in a playoff series, and he needs to do all those things. Is he far enough along for you to think, okay, Skinner's figured some things out. He's had to adapt. He's been scratched. He's been embarrassed. He's felt bad. He's got to get all these habits going in the right direction. Are you buying or selling that he has done that enough that he's going to keep McDavid or Draisaitl as a center now as we move towards the playoffs? Pretty important question, because if he stays in the lineup and can score at or near the rate he's scored historically in the NHL, that'd be a pretty potent weapon for the Oilers going into the postseason. Jeff Skinner was asked how he keeps getting ice time.
Try and impact the game in a positive way. I think it's. I mean, I think our lineup's been pretty fluid the whole season. The guys play with everyone. I think that I'm comfortable playing with everyone on the team, and I think you try and do your best to help the team win in whatever role you have, and I'm no different than anyone else, I think, in that regard.
All right, a little bit there from Jeff Skinner, who, has sounded, he's been fairly even keel, I think, at least in terms of how he's presented himself when asked about the fluctuation in ice time, the fluctuation in responsibility, being scratched, coming back in, sometimes scoring a goal or two, and then getting scratched again. I think he's been pretty even keel about it. I know we've had some discussions on this show with some of you who think that he's been treated unfairly by the coach. I don't necessarily see it that way. There were a couple times I was a little surprised he was taken out of the lineup. But I also think when I watch Skinner, sometimes you see him leaning for offense. Sometimes you not see him on the right side of the puck. Sometimes you see him, taking a chance along the boards to try to look for an easy opportunity as opposed to really digging into the puck battle. All those little things are things he's going to have to do. And I do think he's become better at as the season has moved along. Big chance for him tonight. Big chance for him tonight. We know he has talent. We know he has skill. We know he can finish. He's done that most of his career. And with McDavid and Hyman tonight. Hyman back in the lineup after not being able to go against the New York Rangers. By the way, if you're taking us in on YouTube, let's rally with the thumbs up. We are so close to 100. I think we can get there, in the next couple of minutes, quite frankly. If everybody just goes in there and clicks, then we're at the first threshold. Then we start worrying about word of the day territory. But we want to get to 155, the show half over, and we're almost at 100. But let's just take care of that 100 threshold. Click, click, click away, and then we'll worry about building for word of the day. The Koob has come up with a couple pretty compelling words of the day, or at least so he tells me. Here's the head coach, Chris Knobloch, on having Jeff Skinner with McDavid.
Well, last game, I'll just rewind back to the Rangers game, the first period especially. Had a couple scoring chances, drew 2 power plays. I think he's been unfortunate with his goal scoring this year. He's at a lower rate than he usually is. But, he's a player that, when we talk about secondary scoring and guys who can put the puck in the net, he is the guy that we expect can do that. And given the right opportunities. Tonight's a great opportunity for him, playing with Hyman and McDavid, obviously. But we don't want him to get away with the way he's been playing. He's been tenacious. He's been getting into the opposition's getting in low where he's winning those battles for pucks. So keeping pucks alive, that's an important thing. So, yeah, he's been doing a lot of good things.
All right. Talk about a lot of good things. I think that's what I was just touching on as well, being involved in puck battles. So, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Up front, who are two of the players we've talked about as being disappointments, right? Victor Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner. They've looked a little better. There's still something almost confusing to me about Arvidsson's game, because I really thought he was going to be more of a mucker than what we've seen. Certainly, I thought there'd be more production, but I haven't seen that. And that's the one thing I thought that we would get from Arvidsson, is that even if he doesn't hit the score sheet, he's going to be noticeable. He's going to be involved. He's going to be an irritant. He's going to be in front of the net. He's going to be creating chances. He's going to get the puck to McDavid or Draisaitl. We haven't seen that. And I thought I'd seen enough of him when he played for Nashville and Los Angeles that I kind of got that sense that that's who he was. But he's become sort of a perimeter player. And I referenced this a couple of days ago that there was a goalmouth scramble against New Jersey and a rebound. And the rebound came out to where I would have expected him to be standing. And instead he's 40 feet away with his butt against the board, waving his stick for a one-timer. Was it Todd McClellan or Dave Tippett? One of them used to say, maybe it was both of them, like saying you got to get into the guts of the game. And it seems to me Arvidsson was a player who I expected to be in the guts of the game and spilling them all over the place all the time. And instead, he's sort of been off to the side and looking to score goals on one-timers. And I know he has a couple, but I'm glad he got rewarded on Sunday against the New York Rangers, just taking a shot, trying to get it to the net. Maybe you get a rebound, maybe you get a bit of a bounce and it goes in. So I was glad to see that. So hopefully we get to see more from Arvidsson. A goat farmer putting in the nasty chat on YouTube. Arvidsson is growing stronger. No, he looks like built for the playoffs and not falling all the time any longer. Yeah, I would say I would agree with that recently. So we're talking about Arvidsson and Skinner sort of in the same conversation. And now Arvidsson will play with Nugent Hopkins tonight. But if these two guys become contributing players in the postseason, that changes everything for Edmonton. Because again, instead of having a true top six, the Oilers kind of have a top four or top 3.5. Or you have a player like Corey Perry who plays like a top six player who wasn't expected to be there. So if Skinner has picked up these habits and can actually do them in the postseason, huge bonus. And if Arvidsson, in my mind, returns to the habits that he demonstrated earlier in his career, then that's a huge shift in the balance and the efficiency of the Oilers forwards. So let's hope we see it tonight, and then you have a tough stretch of games coming up to close out this 4-game homestand, which I want to talk about as well. Jeremy and SWP. Where is SWP? Do we know?
SWP? Sherwood Park.
Oh, Sherwood Park.
Is my guess, right?
Oh, maybe.
Sherwood Park.
I was thinking like southwest Persnicketyville. Jeremy and SWP says, we really need to see another game or two of progression out of this group. They really need to take this and build that momentum. Well, and that's what I want to talk about this homestand as well. If the Oilers play solid hockey on this homestand, not necessarily win every game. I mean, you'd like to win 3 out of the 4. It is Sherwood Park. Hello, Jeremy. How are things in Sherwood Park? Is Broadmoor open yet? Oh, by the way, Jeremy's going to be excited about the next clue in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. That's all I'm saying for now. Okay, Koob? If the Oilers play a solid homestand and they're keeping the chances against down and they're keeping the goals against down, and then you look at the caliber of the teams that they're playing on this 4-game homestand, then I think you could say, yes, that they've taken a step back in the right direction after kind of regressing for almost a month and a half since the beginning of February. So that's a fair comment. Like if they come out tonight and they stink again, or they lose 6-2 like they did to Anaheim when that other homestand started, it's going to be like, man, oh man, why can't they figure it out? But if we see a string of solid games, then, okay, maybe everybody feels a lot better going into the postseason. Like, okay, we can limit the other team's chances. We can play tough. We cannot cheat for offense. All those types of things. So, yeah, fair comment there, I think, from Jeremy in Sherwood Park. Should we do the third clue, my friend?
Yes.
The Koob says yes. I'm going to make a prediction, Koob, if I may. May I be allotted a prediction?
Sure. Feel like
I think somebody's going to get it now. I think somebody will get it after this third clue. I better check the inbox to make sure nobody got it while I was rambling. No, nobody has it. So I think somebody's going to get it right here, baby. All right? Third clue is Crusaders. First clue was Anton. Third clue, Rookie of the Year. Or pardon me, the second clue was Rookie of the Year. Third clue is Crusaders. You must text your guesses to 780-218-9999. Here's an update with the Koob.
Seeking 3 straight wins, the Oilers welcome Zach Hyman and Mattias Ekholm back from injury to battle the hockey club. Plus, Derek Ryan heads to the Oilers press box. He's been recalled from the Condors, recording 8 points in 13 AHL games this season. Tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show as Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas go live at 6 to preview the action right here on EST in Vancouver's. Connor Garland is a game-time decision against the Jets. We also see Dallas hosting Anaheim, the Blues taking on the Preds, and the Flames facing the Rangers on a 9-game NHL slate. 3 WHL contests. Swift Current at Regina, the Royals and Blazers matching up, while Moose Jaw and Prince Albert drop the puck. It's a Raptors off day. 4 games shaken down in the NBA. Nets and Celtics at the court. Cleveland visits LA to challenge the Clippers. The Bucks take on the Warriors, and the Hawks meet the Hornets. And college ball has 2 play-in games. St. Francis in Alabama State throwing it down, while North Carolina goes at it with San Diego State. Out East, Jays are in action against the Orioles. Left-handed pitcher Eric Lauer starts on the mound. This sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Visit findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. The Reid Wilkins Show returns after these messages. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Take your career to the next level with Nate's Construction Leadership and Supervision Program, a perfect tool for professionals looking to advance their role or an organization needing to develop leaders. Learn more about safety supervision, scheduling, cost control, and most importantly, how to lead a team. For more information and to register, visit nate.ca/CLSP to take your career to another level.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
UFC 314 goes down at the Canadian Brewhouse on April 12th. Watch every knockout on the most TVs with epic food and drinks in the best atmosphere. Don't miss the action. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
Jeremy in Sherwood Park says that Broadmoor is melting. Thanks for asking. No problem, Jeremy. Thanks for tuning into the show. Jeremy in the nasty chat. That's our chat there on YouTube. If you're new to the show, don't be scared. It's actually not really nasty. Fun place for everybody to talk with each other. We are inside, so we soared past 100 thumbs up. We are less than 2 dozen away from word of the day territory. I want to get that word of the day taken care of. So if you have not given the show a thumbs up on YouTube, just take care of it now. Don't be a pleasure delayer. Koob has had to do some extra work coming up with the words of the day because Jay Milne usually does it. So he's got them ready. So let's satisfy Koob. And let's take care of it. Smith TM14 says Bouchard had a 7-game point streak before it was snapped against the Rangers. Do people realize this? I didn't look at that, actually. Bouchard, here's the thing about Bouchard. Like, to me, the last, 2 or 3 games, there weren't as many massive mistakes by him or the entire Oilers, quite frankly. And what did Knobloch say when we played that clip earlier? Their goal is 10 to 12 5-on-5 chances against. Apparently, the Oilers think that if they can keep it to 10 to 12 5-on-5 chances against, they're going to be fine. Knobloch said they had games where that number was 15 to 20, and that hurts you. They've played better 5-on-5, I think, the last 2 and maybe almost 3 games. Okay, so we'll see if they can keep doing that. We got a winner. And it is Brent P. Just edging out a couple other people during the commercial break. We got 3 or 4. How many? We got 4 correct guesses, like probably within 45 seconds of each other. And Brent P. is going to get it. Can you take care of this, Koob? So Brent P. You'll see if you just scroll down a couple minutes, you'll see it. Brent P. gets the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. So he gets the $25 gift card to Hudson's Canada's Pub. I thought somebody would get it, right, Koob? I thought somebody would get it after that third clue. Well, it turns out, like I said, 4 people got it. But judging, if I'm looking correctly, definitely Brent P. came in first. And I've used this person's name several times on this show. Anton was the first clue. He scored his first NHL goal on Anton Forsberg in October of 22. Second clue was Rookie of the Year. He was the WHL Rookie of the Year in 2020. Crusaders. He briefly played for Sherwood Park Crusaders in the AJHL. The fourth clue would have been 9th. He was drafted 9th overall in 2021. And the 5th clue, which we didn't need, Oil Kings. It's Dylan Gunther. It's a player who is in the game tonight. I don't always do that. So Brent P. gets it. Congratulations. Koob will get in touch with you. And you'll have to come pick up your gift card, right? Did you know who it was, Koob?
Well, if it was just the hints, I wouldn't have got it. But I think during a break, I was like, hey, Reid, who's that mystery player? And we actually had him on the show before, right?
Yes, before the first time these two teams played. All right, good stuff. Dylan Gunther, the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. We're buying or selling for Damon Bunting. Some questions about Jeff Skinner. If you're buying that he can stay up there on that top line. River Cree Resort and Casino. Boy, a lot of people guessed Peter Stastny when the first clue was Anton. I wonder if it's because sometimes I talk about Peter Stastny and he had a brother named Anton. I wonder if that's what I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have thought I'm going to put Anton and people then will think it's Anton or Peter Stastny. I wouldn't be that devious, would I?
It's too direct, actually.
Why would I possibly do that? Wow. I don't look at the text line a lot. We get some interesting texts. Like people put pictures of Dustin Nielsen's face on Wolverine's body. It's quite alarming. Bones says, I'm selling. Skinner will never be on the nuclear line and KK can't resist. I assume he means that Knobloch can't resist moving Skinner down in the lineup. Another text coming in from Marshall. Says Jeff Skinner is no threat on the forecheck, therefore no threat to get the puck to neither McDavid nor Hyman. He won't last in the top 6. Well, we'll see. He's got to get in there and dig, right? He's got to get in there and dig for pucks and play as physical as he can. 780-218-9999, River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Also tonight, Calvin Pickard is in net. Calvin Pickard played very well and got a huge assist against the New York Islanders. Stuart Skinner played Sunday's game against the New York Rangers and played very well, made a couple of big saves in the third period, and got the victory. So the Oilers with consecutive games in which their goaltender only allowed one goal. I thought they'd be coming back with Skinner tonight. The last time they put in Pickard coming home after a road trip, he was making consecutive starts, and that first period didn't go well against Anaheim. He was beaten 4 times. So here's what I think is happening, though. I still think that the Oilers, well, I'm pretty sure about this. The Oilers identify Stuart Skinner as their number one goaltender. They identify him as the guy who is going to start in the playoffs, and they hope play most of their playoff games. So I was talking earlier about this 4-game homestand. Here are the teams the Oilers are facing. We have Utah tonight. They have a .530 points percentage, and they're competing for a playoff spot. Important game for them. The Winnipeg Jets are here on Thursday. The Winnipeg Jets are first overall, have 98 points and a .721 points percentage. Seattle is here on Saturday. They're basically out of the playoff race, just a .463 points percentage. Then you have Dallas next Wednesday, the 26th. Dallas trails only Winnipeg in the Western Conference. They have a points percentage of .659. And then next Thursday, the Oilers are in Seattle. So they have a break after this Saturday's game of 3 days. Then next week they go back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday at home and then on the road. So I'm wondering if they looked at this 5-game span and they said, we want Skinner against Winnipeg and we want Skinner against Dallas. They're going to split the games on the 26th and 27th because they're back-to-back, which means Pickard plays next Thursday. So I'm guessing let's do the games for the rest of this month because they play Calgary on the 29th. So I'm guessing we're going to go Pickard, Skinner, Pickard, Skinner. That's what I'm guessing. So they probably structured some of this around that back-to-back and thought, okay, we got Dallas and we got Seattle back-to-back. We want Skinner against Dallas. And then they looked at the first 3 games of this road trip and wanted to give Pickard one of them. And they probably thought, well, we want Stu to face Winnipeg. And then how are we going to split up the other ones? So they come in with Pickard tonight. I guess you could have done Skinner, and then Pickard against Seattle. Then Skinner goes 5 days without playing. But I'm guessing that's why they structured it that way. That's what I would think. But my first instinct, after Sunday's game was that they come back with Skinner tonight. Instead, they go with Pickard. So again, I think the next 5 games starting tonight are going to be Pickard, Skinner, Pickard, and then you have Calgary next Saturday, the 29th, and that's probably Skinner's game as well. So that's probably, I almost had to count backwards to get that. So I think that's why it's Pickard tonight against Utah. And maybe they need a little bit of offense after the way he passed that puck. That was a pretty good play. If you missed it, we did have a winner in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. I know some people in the Nasty Chat are saying, what are the clues? So the first clue was Anton. Dylan Gunther's the mystery player. Dylan Gunther scored his first NHL goal on Anton Forsberg back in October of 2022. That's why that one was selected. Okay, then Rookie of the Year, he was WHL Rookie of the Year in 20. Crusaders, he briefly played in the AJHL for the Crusaders. 9th would have been the 4th clue. 9th overall in 2021. And Oil Kings was the 5th clue. He was on these powerhouse Oil Kings teams of recent years. Now, remember when the Oil Kings won the dub, he didn't play in the Memorial Cup because he was hurt. Then he got traded to Seattle the next year. Remember that big trade? I think the Oil Kings got 7 draft picks. There was a couple of years in the WHL. There were just these massive trades around the deadline for tons of prospects and picks. He was traded to Seattle, went to the Memorial Cup again with Seattle, and I think they lost the final that year, if I remember. Anyway, so Dylan Gunther, who's been on this show, is your mystery athlete of the game. Keep on giving us the thumbs up on YouTube. We are so close to 130. If everybody rallies, we get to 130 by the top of the hour, and then we're into gravy territory, pushing for the double word of the day. Tom Gazzola is going to join us around 5:20. We'll have our game of the night. I'm going to have my games of the night because there are some really, really big games in the Western Conference tonight, and we'll get into some other fun stuff in the final hour of the show as well. If you've done your bracket for the NCAA, I'm going to recommend something. Do it before those play-in games start tonight, because the one that I'm in that my buddy Mark has been running. What's that, Koob?
St. Francis is playing Alabama State right now. So
was it already
14-10.
underway?
Yeah, one of the games. There's another game later tonight as well. So 2 total play-in games.
Some like these are free points if you can pick these. I mean, they're maybe harder to pick because it's 2 teams competing for the same seed. But pick these ones. It could be 1 or 2 extra points that put you over the top in the end or wins you some money. So what Zachary, Kubusch, and I have done, we have done, what did we call it? The control?
Controlled experiment.
We called it Zach and Reid's control group bracket. So we picked the higher seeded team, the better team in every single matchup throughout the whole tournament. And then we got to 4 number ones at the end, and we went on the end of season national rankings, right? So we have Duke winning the whole thing. We're going to see if that's the best way to. Now, would that be, we have to go back and double check every year, Coop, because some years there are tons of upsets, right? So,
some big ones too, yeah.
But I would think if you just pick the favorite in every game every year, you'd probably do fairly well. You'd be at least in it most of the time, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and really, I mean, it has less research to it because the March Madness, everybody really kind of wants to be a part of it. Like most people who aren't into basketball, I'm not the biggest basketball fanatic at all, but I want to be a part of the March Madness.
Well, you got to be a part of March Madness. You're pretty much as a human being, you're pretty much obligated to do it.
Yeah, it's death, taxes, and March Madness.
At March Madness. Yeah, like I'm looking at last year's tournament. So in one region, the number 1 and the number 2 made it all the way to the regional final. And see, another one was 4 against 11. So that would have broken down because the number 11 you would have lost at every step, right? Actually, NC State was an 11. They beat number 6 Texas Tech. Then they beat number 14 Oakland that had an upset of their own. Then they beat number 2 Marquette. So Marquette would have got you a couple of wins. And then, NC State wound up going to the Final Four. So just look, for example, at last year's, you probably wouldn't have won if you would have picked all favorites. Well, actually, 3 of the top 4 seeds made the Sweet 16. So 3 of the top 4 seeds in each bracket made it to the Sweet 16. So you would have had 12 of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16, which would have got you a lot of points. But then a lot of these are weighted, right? So there's more points for games later on in the tournament. All right. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm excited to do that. Rip City Step says we should do a bracket that the D100 picks. How would we do that? What would we have to roll?
You would almost have to look at an overall view of it, I guess.
Or I guess you could just roll for the 2 teams and say whoever gets the higher roll goes
score,
on.
Yeah. True. What if you both get 87? What do you do then?
You got to re-roll it, baby.
No.
You got to re-roll it.
Oh, boring.
I'm kidding. That's a good idea.
Well, with the D100, there's so many teams playing, right? Like, do you number each team and give a specific number, or like?
Well, no,
you know what I mean,
never
for the
come
championship,
up.
right?
No.
So you could do it that way,
or just number each team 1 through 64.
Yeah, but then you have to re-roll until
then you have to keep re-roll. Yeah,
64.
So, no, I don't think you would do that.
Yeah. You got to use all.
Anyway, we'll see how our control group bracket does. Now, did you fill out your own bracket as well with the actual picks?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Taylor says, does EST have a bracket on the website? How are we distributing the link to that?
All I know is Matty Wanek.
But there's a bunch of listeners in there already. Isn't there, or am I thinking of the wrong one? Hang on.
I'll have to double check.
Hang on.
I'm not so positive on that.
I have email.
We should read our emails, Reid.
I did read my email. Oh, here we go.
I didn't
bracket
read it well
challenge.
enough myself.
I think I can put the bracket in the nasty chat.
Oh.
Because Matthew said he'll throw this out to the listeners, there, I just put it on the nasty chat. Hopefully that worked. And Matthew isn't mad at me that I did something wrong. Because it's free, right? So there can't be... All right, let's do it. We put it out there. Big Maple says, if you go to the ESPN app, go to the Games tab, search Edmonton Sports Talk in the group section. Okay. Yes, Big Uke, I've read all my emails. I'll get to your limerick, okay, you molten mound of manly magma. Games of the night, Tom Gazzola coming up.
The EST Hangout.
The old story of the Oilers watching the Islanders with the ice bags on their knees and heads instead of celebrating. I think the Oilers have learned how to lose, and I think they've also learned how to win. And I think they've flown too close to the sun. It's hard to get back up for these types of games. You get to that point where you're craving the conference finals again.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Edmonton hosts Utah with Zach Hyman and Mattias Ekholm returning to the Oilers lineup. Derek Ryan has also been recalled from the AHL, recording 3 goals and 8 points in 13 games for the Condors this season. Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas break it all down during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, which goes live at 6 right here on EST. 4 other games start in just a moment. Flames and Rangers have a date. Detroit challenges Washington. Alex Ovechkin just 8 goals away from breaking the all-time scoring record. Then the Sens and Canadiens showdown, while Pittsburgh hosts Long Island. After that, Winnipeg hits the ice in Vancouver. Connor Garland listed as a game-time decision for the Canucks. And a light NBA slate has Golden State host Milwaukee, Brooklyn visiting Boston, the Hawks and Hornets butting heads before the Clippers take on the Cavs. In NCAA action, 2 play-in games, St. Francis and Alabama State, are live in the first half. It's 17-14 St. Francis in that one. Later, the Aztecs meet the Tar Heels. And after that, left-handed pitcher Eric Lauer starts on the mound for the Jays as they face the Orioles. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update. The third and final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
Jay Milne on the vocals. He's not here today, but we're still hearing. This is Brody, right?
This one's also North Shore.
Oh, that's North. What's this one called again?
What's listed as track?
Why did you leave me or something? Isn't it their angry breakup song?
They might have had a few of those.
Jay Milne, the very talented man. Great football player, great vocalist, great talk show host. He'll be back on Thursday.
Living many lives.
He is a man of many lives. Jason Milne and the Many Lives of Jason Milne. That's his autobiography.
Could be a good movie.
It would be a good movie. Who would play Jason Milne in that movie?
Could be an off-topic topic for another day.
I don't know. Tom Hiddleston, maybe? Why not? Keep clicking the thumbs up on YouTube. We are just on the cusp of Word of the Day territory, and then once we get there, we're already pretty close to double Word of the Day territory. The ultimate goal is at least 100, but we're going to get 130 in the next few seconds. Don't delay. Click away. Let a couple people know about the show, about Edmonton Sports Talk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Favorite the station on TuneIn Radio, on iHeartRadio. Go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Give us all the wonderful feedback that you can. We keep building our algorithm, keep building our audience, keep building the station. We love doing it. We love doing it. All right, 780-218-9999. That is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. If you want to go in our ESPN, our NCAA bracket, I put out in the nasty chat, I put the link to go enter it. It is free, and you can go in there and select your team, and you'll be ready to go. So that's pretty fun. So I put that in the nasty chat a few minutes ago. You might have to scroll up a little bit, but go to YouTube, click the link, and give us a thumbs up as well. Don't leave the stream page. Just open a new window and fill it out while you're listening to the show. That would be the most prudent thing to do. Had to play that, Koob. Hadn't played that yet. People like that. Oilers in Utah at 7 o'clock. Oilers going for their third consecutive victory. Big game for the Utah Hockey Club. They are 2 points out of the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. That is held by Vancouver. Vancouver has 73 points. They have played one less game than St. Louis, so St. Louis is the best non-playoff team. The Flames, who had a rough night last night in Toronto, 71 points. Utah also with 71 points. So I'm going to give you the games of the night for Playmore tables and games, from ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for. Visit Canada's Game Room experts, locations in Edmonton and Calgary, or online at playmoregames.ca. Of course, I select the Edmonton Oilers as one of our games of the night. Okay? Oilers against Utah. But a lot of important games. The Flames play the Rangers. That should be starting any second. So that's a big one for Calgary in their chase for a playoff spot. And the Jets play the Canucks. So the Jets with a chance to hit 100 points if they win that game. And, of course, Vancouver with a win hangs on to the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. St. Louis is playing as well. St. Louis is in Nashville in about an hour. So you got those 4 teams hotly competing for that one spot, all playing. Vancouver plays Winnipeg. St. Louis plays Nashville. Calgary plays the Rangers, and Utah right here in Edmonton to face the Oilers. Now, whoever gets that playoff spot will likely get the reward of taking on the mighty Winnipeg Jets in the first round. But anyway, that's a really interesting chase right now. I didn't see Calgary staying in it this long. They do not score. I mean, they have 171 goals for. That's tied for last in the league with Nashville. So, I mean, Dustin Wolf, the goaltender, might win Rookie of the Year. Calgary's minus 25 in goal differential. And what were they, minus 4 last night against Toronto? But they're still in the race. I think their young goaltender is a big part of that, but they certainly don't get any offense. But Calgary and Nashville, just 171 goals for. Oh, you know what? They even have less than San Jose. San Jose, I didn't flip the page. When the standings print, it doesn't fit San Jose on the bottom. That's how poorly they're doing. I didn't think the Flames would be in it for this long. I think I had Utah going to the playoffs preseason, didn't I, Koob? I'm pretty sure I did. I had Vancouver, I think, third in the Pacific Division, and I don't think I had St. Louis in. So I guess Calgary, though, would be the biggest surprise for me there. So those are the games of the night for Playmore Tables and Games. Okay, Big Uke, time for your limerick. Reid's player of the day is never easy to get. The Oilers will get the dub, don't you fret. Dances with Wolves 2, becoming wolf poo. If you had the choice of any, what animal would you pet? Big Uke, that's incredible work. You reference our mystery athlete of the day. You reference the Oilers game tonight. You reference the off-topic topic for William Huff. Which movie most needs a sequel? And he is saying that it's Dances with Wolves, and he's saying the film would be called Dances with Wolves 2, Becoming Wolf Poo. I'm not sure what you envision the plot of this movie being, Big Uke. You're a very interesting man. If I had the choice of any, what animal would you pet? Well, I obviously would take a dog, preferably a poodle or a Bichon. You can send your limerics to Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. All right, it looks like people are getting into the bracket challenge. So that's good, Koob. We should have a whole bunch of people in there. I have a team. We have our control group team, and you're going to have a team?
I will have one.
You will have a team?
Maybe a couple. I might have to. I'm not going to research.
Are you in the F1 pool?
I am in the F1 pool, and I'm going to try and pay attention to it. I did over the weekend. So
did you sit and watch the race?
I did.
Wasn't it at like 10 p.m. on Friday night or Saturday night?
Yeah, had nothing better to do.
Okay.
Yeah. I was looking forward to it, actually, and it was really good.
And is that the first F1 race you have watched front to back in your life?
Yeah, actually, I think it was. I mean, I might have watched highlights or something like that, but I've never seen the lead up to the race, introductions, and even I watched some post-race interviews.
Okay. Gauger is just crazy for that stuff. I'm moderately interested. I mean, I'll pay attention to the pool. I have no expectations of winning. It was free to go in, which is nice. I used to follow F1. Probably the closest I followed F1 would have been in junior high and high school. For some reason, I liked Alain Prost, and I would watch entire races. Right? Remember? Oh, you wouldn't remember Alain Prost.
I don't remember.
Probably
a lot of
before
people.
your time.
Yeah.
Well, you can't remember something you never were exposed to.
Yeah, sometimes I say that. Oh, remember when Wayne Gretzky did this? Well, I wasn't around. Like, I might still say that, even though it was before.
Well, you could be asking me if I remember something.
True.
How did the trivia go today? I heard part of it with...
yeah.
Did you ask that hard question that I knew the answer to?
I think it was...
The overtime one?
What was it? Yeah, it was... Well, Brandon Montour scored 4 seconds in to win 4-5 over the Montreal Canadiens for the Kraken. Fastest overtime goal in regular season. What was the fastest playoff?
And I knew this.
Goal? And it was in 9
Brian
seconds.
Strudlin, Game 2 of the 1986 Stanley Cup Final, 9 seconds against the Calgary Flames.
You had zero hesitation.
I flat out knew that because
Zero.
I remember watching that game, and I wanted the Canadiens to beat the Flames to win the Cup.
I did not ask that question.
So off the opening face-off, I believe Mike McPhee took it down the right side, took a slap shot. Vernon kicked the rebound into the slot, and then Strudlin buried it. I think that's how the goal happened.
You have a almost photographic memory. I know
I don't have a
to talk
photographic
about it
memory,
after,
but
yeah.
some things you just remember. I don't know what it is. And some games, and I mean, at that age, I would have been probably 12, so I never would have seen an overtime game end that quickly. It was in the Stanley Cup Final, probably watching with my mom and dad. I wanted the Canadiens to beat Calgary, so I just remembered that.
It was just a good memory then.
Yeah, it's just a good memory.
Yeah.
It's just like the most famous goal, in my mind, the best goal in Oilers history is Game 2 of the 1988 Smythe Division Final. Wayne Gretzky scoring shorthanded against Calgary, blasting a slap shot over Mike Vernon's left shoulder.
I think I've seen that video probably multiple times.
Probably. That's
in
just an
highlight
epic
reels
goal
and
because
stuff.
that was the year. That was the year Calgary was supposed to be outright better than the Oilers, right? So they played in the playoffs before. It was a pretty big upset in '86 that the Flames beat the Oilers, and then in '88. Calgary finished ahead of Edmonton, I think just by 2 or 4 points. It wasn't a lot, but a lot of the common thinking was, okay, Calgary's kept building, and they're better than the big, mighty Oilers. They're outright better than them. It's not going to be an upset this year. They should beat the Edmonton Oilers, and the Oilers went in there, won Game 1, were shorthanded in Game 2 in overtime. I believe it was Messi in the penalty box. Gretzky scores shorthanded. The Oilers take the first 2 games on the road. come back and sweep the Flames. Like, they didn't just beat them or upset them. They swept them. And then they went on to beat Boston in the Stanley Cup final.
Which they did a few times on their run, beating Boston. And that was...
twice.
Well, yeah, a couple times. And then the Flyers, they met the Flyers a couple times as well, I believe, right?
Right.
That was one they're both good. That was
they beat
that
the
was
Flyers
same
in
year.
85 and 87.
Yeah.
They beat the Bruins in 88 and 90. And they beat the Islanders in 84.
88 was Gretzky's last year on the Oilers, right?
It was, yes.
And that was the infamous game where the Oilers, I mean, they swept the Bruins, but they swept them technically in 5 games.
Yeah, because of the fog out. So the power went out.
The power went out. They had
Garden.
to fly back, and they won it.
So they
Edmonton won
counted
it at
the
home.
stats, but they didn't count the game. Well, the game was tied. I think Craig Simpson scored the goal, and then the lights went out shortly
He
after
scored
that.
2, I think.
Did he get 2 in that game?
Yeah.
Okay. Epic stuff. Jay Milne in the nasty chat. Fresh off the slopes. Checked in to provide my thumb. Hey, Reid and Koob. Hello, Glue Guy. Hope the skiing is going well. So Glue Guy sent me a screen cap of some kind of skiing stats, and I had no idea what they meant. So I just wrote back, oh, neat. Because I didn't think I would understand any explanation that came through text. It was something like, I don't know, calories burnt or strides taken or kilometers covered or elevation descended. Like, it had all this, like, it looked like one of those fitness charts, but I think it was related to skiing. I had no idea what it was, Koob. And then at that point, you're faced with an important decision. Do I ask for an explanation, or do I just say, oh, neat? Because really, I'm not saying that I knew what was going on. I'm just saying it's neat. And I think saying something is neat is you're still encouraging that activity or that kind of record keeping. But I'm also like, I'm not that interested in an answer. And I've also felt like I'm not interested in making Glue Guy take time off from his time off to explain this to me. So I just said, oh, neat.
Yeah, I would have done that same thing.
Yeah.
Good approach. I learned what corduroy was in the ski slopes.
Well, I've learned too. It's like the nicely groomed snow, isn't it?
Yeah, because it looks like corduroy.
Mm.
It's got the nice.
Yeah, we got the Marmot
lines.
Basin ski report, so we've learned about a lot of stuff. But Glue Guy, I guess, would he be now in the midst of après ski since he's done skiing? He sent me top speed reached, kilometers skied, runs completed, elevation traveled, etc. Neat. D-Rock in the nasty chat. I ran into Craig Simpson leaving Joey Belltower during the Cup Finals. He was nice enough to stop for a photo and a quick chat. Yeah, I've always enjoyed dealing with Craig Simpson. He was on Oilers Now with Bob for a few years. Part of that when I was producing the show. He's always a gentleman to deal with for sure. And Jay Milne says yes to the après ski. Here's the deal, by the way, with the thumbs. We're at 133, which means we are 22 away from our goal of 155. So let's get there because Koob wants to give a double word of the day. He has a burning, itching sensation to give me a double word of the day.
Neat.
Yeah, neat.
Yes.
Very neat. That's going to be our word of the show. That'll be our word around the office when someone's telling us something that completely bores us. Oh, neat. Then we just slowly walk away. Yeah, keep giving us the thumbs up. Give us the thumbs up for Tom Gazzola, who's coming up in about 3 or 4 minutes. I don't know what was going on. Well, I sort of know, but I want to dive into this. We're going to talk about tonight's game with Tom, some of the storylines about facing Utah, how he sees the Oilers' recent form, all very important stuff. Did you notice, Koob, you were on the ice. I don't know how well you could hear the throng of fans at the downtown community arena on Saturday for the Heavy Hockey Showdown. Tom Gazzola was getting booed when he touched the puck.
I might have been the one of the participants in that cheer, I guess you could say.
You were booing Tom Gazzola as a player on the ice?
Yes, my former teammate.
Why didn't you just fight him?
I don't want to sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes. My legs would get cold.
You wouldn't get 5 for fighting.
Yeah. I think we would. Last year there was a fight. I don't know
click,
how.
Click. Must you click? Please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb.
All right. We'll see what's going on with the booing, and we'll talk about the Oilers and the Utah Hockey Club with Tom. Coming up, Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne.
Zach Hyman, Mattias Ekholm are back for the Oilers as they face the Hockey Club. Derek Ryan also has been recalled from Bakersfield, playing 13 games for the Condors this season, recording 8 points as he heads to the Oilers press box. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show alongside Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they preview the action live at 6, only on EST. Right now, there's 4 games live. Artemi Panarin taking a 1-0 lead for the Rangers over the Flames. Christian Dvorak having the only goal for Montreal against Calgary. And it's 1-0. Joona Koppanen finding the back of the net for Pittsburgh against Long Island. In 4 games in the NBA, Atlanta playing Charlotte. The Celtics meeting the Nets, and the Warriors tipping off against the Bucks. In college action has 2 play-in games, one live right now. St. Francis leading 32-26 over Alabama State. After that, North Carolina has San Diego. Spring training sees Toronto taking on Baltimore. Eric Lauer being named as the Jays' starting pitcher for the contest. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds. And Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you'll need. Get top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or call them at 780-467-5014. Tom Gazzola, the host of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows, joins us on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Craig Butner, TSN hockey analyst today.
And so the door is open in the Pacific for Vegas, Edmonton, and LA for, I think, the coveted first spot. And certainly the second spot is home ice. So it becomes really fascinating who can find their game. I don't know if there's much to choose between the teams in the Pacific. You got to find your game. You got to get your game in order.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you? Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Missing the course? The Canadian Ice House is here to keep your skills sharp. Trackman golf simulators are open. Real golf action right in downtown Edmonton. Don't let the off-season slow you down. Visit us in-store or check out thecanadianicehouse.com for all the details.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
Someday you'll be shedding your tears.
A one-of-a-kind retrospective. It's Glass Tiger, This Island Earth, April 4th at River Cree Resort and Casino.
Don't forget me when I'm gone.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
All right, thanks for joining us this afternoon. 23 minutes after 5. The game is at 7. Oilers against the Utah Hockey Club. Reid Wilkins in the Canadian Brewhouse studio. Yes, the Canadian Brewhouse. Make your birthday legendary at the Canadian Brewhouse. Epic food, killer drinks, and a vibe you can't beat. Plus, get free nachos with our app. Book your party now. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house. Canadian Brewhouse Studio. Love being in it. Love having this guy on the show. My good friend, my spiritual anchor from the oil stream, Edmonton Sports Talk fixture, Tom Gazzola checking in. Tom, how are you?
Wow. Thank you, Reid. That was beautiful considering the amount of sheer disrespect I received Saturday afternoon at the downtown community arena. Also, huge shout out to the brew house stepping up, being a bigger part of the show. And I was actually at Ice House last night enjoying some frivolity and friendship. And I think we're going to have it's going to be a nice little partnership going forward. We'll have some more announcements coming up as we inch towards the postseason. So I'll just leave it at that. But unbelievable. I'm still getting it in the nasty chat. I've got it on in my satellite studio. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Norman at Combine's calling you Boo Gazzola.
Yeah. Paulie's better. I keep seeing that BS. So, get your head out of your you-know-what, guys, because you're just lying to everyone, including yourselves.
Keep giving the thumbs up, by the way, in the nasty chat. That's a little thumbs up button on YouTube if you're new to the show. We are in Word of the Day territory. We need 15 more to get the double Word of the Day. Or you can just pretend you're booing Tom and hit the thumbs up button if that's your thing. So why were you booed? Because I got there and I missed the first game. Okay? Yeah. And then I'm on the EST bench. And I'm like, where's Tom? Isn't he playing? And they're like, he's on the other team. Mm-hmm. So is that why you were being booed? What happened?
Yes, I was traded, and it wasn't my idea, but Mike Crosby, who is the assistant coach for Team Heavy Hockey, made a sizable donation to do so. Came in and said, I have a trade proposal, and I wasn't the first choice, surprisingly. I think Belzy was requested, and then maybe Dustin, maybe someone else. And those trades were declined by our coaching staff and general manager. And then finally they're like, okay, we'll take Tom. And listen, I only played, I think 6 or 7 minutes of the first game because I had given my skates to Rogan Dean from the Oil Kings. He's like, I'll sharpen them for you, Tommy, because they needed a quick zap. I gave them to him at 9:30. And then I was like, hey, Rose, can I come pick up my skates? I just finished the show. I'm going to go on the ice now. And he texts me back. He goes, oh, you're playing in that charity event. I had no idea. I just thought you wanted them sharpened. And I was like, no, I am playing. And they already started. And he's like, I'm just out for lunch. I'll be back shortly. And then I was able to score a goal for Team EST, and then I got traded. And you know what? I gave Team Heavy Hockey everything I had, and we put up a good fight, and we lost the second game. It was a close one, but I do stand by the fact that Belzy did go down way too easy when they gave me that tripping penalty with a minute 50 left. Surveyor Brett, that's just a horrendous afternoon on the ice. And his other guys, his crew was better than him, but he made just an absolutely atrocious call and sealed the deal basically for EST's team.
All right. Well, I know I got the sense that because I don't think I've ever seen you play hockey before, but I know you play hockey pretty regularly. I mean, you play Junior B, which I know people who play Junior B laugh at themselves, but still, you got to be fairly decent.
Lloyd, I went to Lloyd, Reid, when you were there to play for the Blazers, and I was there. They're like, "Are you ready to sign?" and all that stuff. Just to give the background on that. And I was like, I just don't like it here. And I told my dad, I'm like, I'm just coming home, man. And then a week later, apparently the team got in a bar fight. And a buddy of mine, Darren Boyd, was the captain at the time. We didn't become friends till later. And I told him the story. He's like, you were there? I'm like, yeah, man. You guys got in a bar fight and a bunch of your players had to get traded or cut. And he's like, yeah, we had to cut a couple guys and we traded 2 or 3 of them. And I'm like, yeah, they called me to come back. And I was like, no, I'm good. I was very happy as a Red Wing. And then every time they did the loop through Edmonton at the time, Fort Sask, Sherwood Park, St. Albert instead of Spruce Grove because the Saints were still in St. Albert. They would ask if I would play. I think they called me a couple times. I was like, no, I'm good. But I ended up working that. The point of this is I ended up at CKSA CITL. I know you had Bucky on last week. 4 years later, and my parents looked at me. They're like, really? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. The Blazers weren't very good back. I would have been the 13th forward on the worst team in the league. So
Yeah, they were they were not good most of the time I was there. The first year I was there, I got there during the playoffs, and they were really, really good. They lost to Fort Mac, who won the national championship, and then they had another year. They were like 7th, and they upset the Saints. Mark Hollick was coaching the Saints. And the Blazers did get like some veteran guys at the deadline, I think in 2004, who kind of like knew how to play playoff hockey and won a series. But then they lost. But other than that, they were always out of the playoffs or barely making the playoffs. I vaguely remember the bar fight thing. I think the team did the best to cover a lot of. I don't remember Darren Boyd. I'm sorry to say, if he was the captain, he would have been someone I talked to. But
very unassuming guy.
I would have talked to a lot of players. I remember there was a player on the Blazers. He got like I think he broke his leg, but he also was facing a suspension because I think he got caught doing cocaine. And then I think he also broke his leg. So they kind of overlapped.
So I got the sense it wasn't the cleanest team in the world and the picturesque altar boys type. So
no,
yeah.
Anyway, days gone by. We need a dozen more thumbs to get to 155, double word of the day territory. So don't delay. Click, click, click away, because I love doing the word of the day, and Koob's got them lined up today. All right, Ekholm back, and Hyman returning as well. Maybe some other things. Skinner to the top line, Pickard in goal. Where do you want to start, Tom?
I think Ekholm. Let's go with Ekholm because that's important. Now we get to see kind of the full defense. John Klingberg was also on the ice, but Reid, I'm at the point, at least in my assessment of this group, and I don't know where you're at with this, but to me, John Klingberg at best is the 7th D-man, depending on what his injury situation is. I know he's a bit banged up, and we're worried about those hips, him coming back after a double hip surgery. So heck, he might even be the 8th defenseman, quite frankly, but he seemed to be skating okay today. Ekholm, though, his lower body issue had something that was banged up, but it just felt like he was also really worn out. I mean, we interview him in the room, and you listen to him, and he lost his voice. We thought, there was an illness there, but then a month later, his voice still wasn't there. So it just struck me as a guy that, probably a little bit banged up, dealing with some stuff. And then on top of that, absolutely worn out. So they gave him, he's basically had 2 weeks off to rest and recover. And let's see where he's at. But this Oilers defense, compared to the last time we saw them at home, is going to be much better, I think.
This is the 6, right? I mean, you said it. Klingberg has not been outstanding in any way. He's been very plain in my mind and hasn't moved very well, which is probably what you would expect coming off 13 months of not playing and having hip surgery. Which, side note, which is why I always caution people about Evander Kane. And I know it's different. It's different parts of the body. But that's why I'm always like, well, Kane's on the first line in the playoffs. I'm always like, what are you talking about?
No.
Settle down. He was hindered last year when he was trying to play through it. What makes you think he's going to come back 100%? Anyway, no, to me, Klingberg's better with the puck than Stetcher, but I've almost felt Stetcher moves better when he's been playing. I haven't seen any sort of burst from Klingberg. So I think this now, and that's why this is a storyline for me as well as Skinner on the top line. But this is the 6th defenseman, and they've put Durst with Wallman. That's another interesting decision that they've made.
Yeah, and they could try some things around. And we heard Chris Knobloch say it today too, that he anticipates there being some juggling of the pairings on defense, just because Ekholm has missed so much time and they want to try some things. So don't get attached to the pairings, apparently, is what the warning was from Knobloch this morning. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Brett Kulak with Nurse a bunch. And then it'll be interesting to see how Emberson's incorporated into this, if Wallman slides back, if depending on how Bouchard's playing defensively, do we see Ekholm get paired up with Wallman or Kulak? Could they try some stuff like that? I think in a situation like tonight, yes. But we have to keep in mind, too, that Utah has been playing good hockey. And you outlined it in the last segment. They could be, by the end of the night, with a couple of losses to St. Louis and Vancouver, tied with those teams for that last wild card spot if they beat the Oilers.
Another big game for Calgary, who got throttled. Well, especially in this. That's the only game, that period of that game I wound up watching.
Yeah.
By the time I got in front of the TV, I think it was 1-1. Toronto just pounded them in the second period, so I didn't bother watching third. Nazem Kadri just scored, so 1-1 between the Flames and the Rangers. That's an interesting back-to-back, eh? Toronto and the Rangers. I know the travel isn't too bad, but I don't remember seeing that a lot over the years.
That is odd. I mean, it'd probably be like an hour flight, to be honest. So hour and a bit, but not that bad. But yeah, that is. You don't see that very often, crossing the border. Probably had to go through customs really quickly. Oh, well, that's their problem.
Jeff Skinner to the top line. What a season, eh? He's been on every line. He's been scratched. He's played poorly, and he's been scratched. He's scored, and he's been scratched.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people thought, he played well against the Rangers. Now he'll get scratched. Not this time. I think this is a chance for Skinner and for Arvidsson to wipe out the first 3 quarters of the season by having a strong stretch drive and then potentially a strong playoff.
Yeah, and listen, we assume and we know for the most part Jeff Skinner wants to play in the playoffs. So here's his chance to actually show that he can elevate his game, and he's going to have to, because postseason hockey is even better, quicker, harder than what we're seeing down the stretch. And so he's going to have to just kind of take whatever opportunity he's given and run with it and make it count. And to his credit, he's been pretty engaged, and he's provided some offense, and he's been kind of dialed in. And I like the kind of pissed off, spunky type of attitude we've sort of seen from him lately. Reid, this Skinner with McDavid combination thing, we saw it for one period, I believe, 1 or 2 periods really early in the season. I think it was late October when things were starting to kind of balance out and the team was getting a bit better. But now's a true opportunity. Go do stuff, Jeff Skinner. Go and get open for Connor McDavid. And you know McDavid would rather pass than shoot, although when he shoots, he seems to score like he did the other night at MSG. And then Hyman's a dog, and he's going to work hard in the corners and below the goal line and in front of the net. And so you can be a guy that kind of feeds off of that. There is opportunity here. I don't mind this combination of forwards on this top line with McDavid. Go and make the most of it. And then, hey, back check hard, give a crap, show that you are putting in the effort, and you should have a recipe for success. We'll see if that's what happens, though.
Well, and that's the thing with Jeff Skinner. And then the one thing I've noticed, because I thought, okay, I really got to watch his game, right? Because he keeps getting scratched. And it's just those things on the forecheck. Don't go behind. They say above the puck. If you're going to get in a puck battle, don't assume you're going to steal it from behind the guy and get a breakaway.
Yeah.
And that's why Podkolzin keeps playing, because he uses his position. Generally, he positions his body well. I know for Podkolzin, a bit of a bugaboo is the turnovers in the neutral zone at the offensive blue line. But when he goes to check a guy, he keeps himself between the guy and the net. Whereas Jeff Skinner sometimes goes in, I'm going to sneak up from behind him and lift his stick and go the other way. And then if you miss, that rarely works in the NHL. And if you miss, then you're caught behind the flow of play trying to get back into it. So, but I think he's been doing a little bit better in that way. All right. I look forward to seeing it at the end. What do you have coming up on the pregame show?
We're going to have Belle Fraser from the Salt Lake Tribune join us. She's excellent beat reporter covering Utah HC. She's going to tell us about the trademark stuff with their name. I'll ask her about that because she's been tweeting about it all day, I think today and yesterday a little bit. We'll see if we finally get a resolution on that. I really despise Utah HC I think it is the stupidest name. So I'm looking forward to seeing whatever the hell they call themselves. The other thing too, Mikhail Sergachev apparently has a chicken coop and provides eggs for his teammates in these trying times when egg prices are through the roof down in the U.S. Yeah, so I'll ask her about that. And then obviously this run that Utah is going on to put itself into a situation where it could, push for the playoffs. So Belle will give us the scoop on that. And then our own Belle, Sean, will be filling in for Cass on Game Changers, and he'll be our game analyst. So it's going to be a good show, and looking forward to getting going in about 22 minutes. I have to put on my suit. And I am wearing shorts right now. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Well, with your tidbit you dropped about Sergachev and your story from your team name on Saturday. This truly was a chicken crap segment.
That's why you're the best, buddy.
All right. See you, Tom.
See you later, Reid.
It's Tom Gazzola, my colleague here at EST, host of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows, along with Hernan Salas. They're coming up at the top of the hour. I didn't know that. Sergachev has a chicken coop and brings eggs to his teammates. That's pretty good. I didn't know that. I will have to listen to get more of that story. Here's what I would like you to do during the commercial. Click the thumbs up on YouTube. Get in there and click away, because we're half a dozen away from double word of the day, which would make the Koob happy. It would make Jason Milne, who's not even here, extremely happy.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
Just make everybody happy by getting to the word of the day. Koob's going to update your NHL scoreboard. Here he comes.
Seeking 3 straight wins, the Oilers welcome Zach Hyman and Mattias Ekholm back from injury to battle the hockey club. Plus, Derek Ryan heads to the press box. He's been recalled from the Condors, recording 8 points in 13 AHL games this season. Tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas go live at 6 o'clock to preview the action right here on EST. And right now it's 1-1. Flames and Rangers, Senators and Canadians have that same score at 1 apiece, while the two Dylans in Strome and Larkin finding the back of the net, making it 1-1 between Washington and Detroit. Plus, the Penguins hold the Islanders 1-0, having all 4 of those games nearing the end of the first. It's a Raptors off day today. 4 games shaken down. 1 match is live. Atlanta leading 32-25 on the Hornets. After that, Nets and Celtics hit the court. Cleveland visits LA to challenge the Clippers, and the Bucks take on the Warriors. And college ball has 2 play-in games. Right now, St. Francis is up 5 points, 39-34 in that one over Alabama State. After that, North Carolina goes at it with San Diego State out east. Jays are in action against the Orioles. Left-handed pitcher Eric Lauer starts on the mound. That one shaken down just after 6 o'clock. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update. The final segment of the Reid Wilkins Show brings us back on the other side of the break.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Hey, thanks, Koob. Great work this afternoon, buddy. Reid Wilkins. No Jason Milne. He's skiing. He sent me some kind of report about his skiing activities. I didn't understand it. Whenever you're texting us, by the way, you're using the afternoon inbox presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant. All you can eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. You can email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and you can participate chatting with me and with each other in the Nasty Chat on YouTube. That's also where I implore you to give a thumbs up. We need 2 thumbs for double word of the day territory. So let's see if we can get there in the next, 20 seconds or so. The show ends in about 11 minutes. Just some quick notes here. Here is the Oilers' expected lineup tonight. McDavid centering Jeff Skinner and Zach Hyman. Draisaitl between Perry and Brown. Nuge centering Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Henrique with Janmark and Kapanen. Max Jones and Derek Ryan are the healthy scratches. Derek Ryan has been called up from Bakersfield. Ekholm returns. He's with Bouchard, Nurse with Wallman, and Kulak with Emberson. So Stetcher and Klingberg will be your extra defensemen. Calvin Pickard, the expected starter tonight. Stuart Skinner will be the backup. Mattias Ekholm tells you what kept them out of action here.
Been battling a little bit of a lower body injury, and it's kept me out, obviously, but guys have done a great job, and I'm feeling better, so that's exciting.
For a little while since you got to miss that many games, tell me about how excited you are to be back in the lineup here as the team comes home from the road trip.
Yeah, it's hard to watch on TV. I don't really like that at all. You want to be part of it, obviously, and especially during the stretch run coming down here. So I'm happy that I feel better. It was hard to watch just not being able to be part of it, but I thought they did a good job.
Oilers will have Ekholm and Jake Wallman in the same lineup for the first time. Here's Ekholm.
It's been exciting to watch him. I think he's done a great job fitting in with us. I think he plays a great style. He's very sound out there, and he can join the rush, and he makes good plays out there. So it looks like he's fit right in, and I think we have a strong team. We have about 15 games to go in the regular season. It's time to fine-tune those details and make sure we're dialed in come April 17 or whatever it is that the playoffs start. So hopefully we get everybody back here sooner rather than later, and we can start building that team game that will make us successful in the postseason.
All right. What? Somebody sent me a March Madness video, Jimbo. I don't think I can download that right now, so the audio will go on air. Knobloch on putting Jeff Skinner on McDavid's line.
Well, last game, I'll just rewind back to the Rangers game, the first period especially. Had a couple scoring chances, drew 2 power plays. I think he's been unfortunate with his goal scoring this year. He's at a lower rate than he usually is. But, he's a player that, when we talk about secondary scoring and guys who can put the puck in the net, he is the guy that we expect can do that. And given the right opportunities. Tonight's a great opportunity for him, playing with Hyman and McDavid, obviously. But we don't want him to get away with the way he's been playing. He's been tenacious. He's been getting into the opposition's, getting in low where he's winning those battles for pucks. So keeping pucks alive, that's an important thing. So, yeah, he's been doing a lot of good things.
Coyote Steve in the Nasty Chat says Wallman will have a better game tonight, not having to carry Bouchard. I think Wallman's been good. I was surprised during Hernan and Gager show. I saw somebody post that Wallman looks like Chris Russell in the offensive zone. I think he's pretty good, and he has a way harder shot than Chris Russell. I think Wallman's been quite a good addition, actually. And again, these tonight are the 6 defensemen that the Oilers see having in the playoffs. You can fool around with the pairings or whatever, but these are the 6 guys that if they're all healthy and playing well, that's who's going to play. And I think that's a pretty good decor. I guess maybe now Emberson would be the biggest question mark. He's had some good stretches this season. Maybe he hasn't been outstanding, but you kind of just need him to go out there and defend. So these are the 6 guys. Jeff Skinner was asked how he keeps getting more ice time and maybe some more opportunities with McDavid.
Try and impact the game in a positive way. I think I think our lineup's been pretty fluid the whole season. The guys play with everyone. I think that I'm comfortable playing with everyone on the team, and I think you try and do your best to help the team win in whatever role you have, and I'm no different than anyone else, I think, in that regard.
All right, maple syrup skid mark. That is quite the handle. My goodness, that brings up a lot of different options in my head. Anyway, says, I love Ekholm. Shouldn't the team game have been put together well before 15 games left in the regular season? Well, ideally, but I would say, I mean, they had a bad stretch. They had a slump. They had some off games. You can't do anything about it. Put it together now and be playing well going into the postseason. I mean, I would say this, maple syrup skid mark, but I never thought I would be addressing somebody by that name. Thank goodness for broadcasting. Yes, that's one way to look at it, but I also look at the 30-game stretch before they kind of started playing poorly in February. I mean, they were 22-6-2 or whatever it was. So, yeah, I mean, let's start turning it around here. Pickard's in net, ace. Coyote Steve, Oilers better not take Utah lightly. They're in the I've been saying that Utah is a dangerous team, and this is a big game. The Ryan Miller, who covers them, was on the show earlier, and he said if they lost to Vancouver a couple of days ago, it's pretty much lights out. They're 6 points out. They won the game; they're 2 back, but they can't afford to fall 4, 5, 6 behind. So yeah, Utah's good. I always like seeing Dylan Gunther play. He's a dangerous player. Yeah, hungry team for sure, as hopefully the Oilers are. All right, let's do it, Koob.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it?
Yeah, we got to, we're over 155. Let's see if we can get to 165 by the end of the show.
It's a solid show.
That's a solid show. We had a fun show.
Good job, everyone.
All right. So it's a double word of the day, Koob. Did you get these yourself, or was there help today? Not that it doesn't matter.
There was some help today.
Okay.
One of these words actually comes from Father Koob, my dad.
Father Koob.
My father, yes.
Okay.
Father Koob, I guess, is...
That's awesome.
His moniker. I don't even know how to say it. Okay. F for FM Earl.
Well, how am I supposed to...
Hold on. I had it too. Wait a second. It can't be that hard. It can't
ephemeral?
Ephemeral.
I think it's ephemeral.
Jeepers. It's ephemeral, yes.
I'm not sure how to spell this. I think it's EFFEMERAL. Ephemeral?
There is no F, so that is wrong. It's EPHEMERAL.
Oh, it's PH. I probably at some point in my life knew what this word meant or looked it up while I was reading a book. I'll take a guess at it. Ephemeral?
Okay. Ephemeral.
Is it almost like intangible or ghost-like? Like it's hard, something that's hard to grasp?
You're directionally correct.
I'm directionally correct.
Sort of in that same ballpark. Like yesterday, you were in the same league, but not in the same ballpark. You might be somewhere in the stands right now.
All right.
You're sniffing at it.
So it's sort of like intangible. No, just give me. Okay.
No,
I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong.
Okay.
I failed everybody.
Lasting a very short time.
Oh, okay.
I guess I misled you a little bit there.
So it's like Tom Gazzola's stint with the EST team turned out to be ephemeral.
Yeah. Good use of the word ephemeral. The second word, supererogatory.
Supererogatory?
Supererogatory.
How do you come up with these?
Google is a good machine.
Supererogatory. Well, I know how to spell super. I'll just take a stab at it. SUPERARROGATORY.
Very, very close, but no on that one. It's SUPERAROGATORY.
Supererogatory. So I thought it was arrogatory. It's supererogatory.
Supererogatory.
What is this? Does it have anything to do with erogenous zones?
No.
Supererogatory. I'm going to say, my goodness, supererogatory. So is it something to do with like a great amount of something or more than because of super?
Yes.
So it's a quantity.
Yes.
It's a great quantity.
Yes.
So it's something that causes. Is it something that causes something? I'm getting Koob to give me the definition.
Nothing that causes something, but it's something that is.
Is it the result
more
of something, or it's?
There's no result really.
It's an event that is the largest of its kind. Like this volcano was super erogatory.
I want to give you partial points on this one. It means involving or doing more than necessary.
Oh, so not really.
Half points. You said
I
more
did not
than.
get it.
That
I did
is
not
in the
get a half
definition.
point. That's
No half
lousy
point?
work by me.
So you're 0 for 4.
0 for 4.
Wow.
I suck. Where's the tuba guy?
Herda
just did it.
In as a tuba.
I can feel your anger.
All right. Well, that's a hugely disappointing way for me to end the show. I leave so many shows feeling terrible about myself because I fail. It's like I could have a great show for 2 hours and 58 minutes, and then the last 2 minutes I suck, and I'm like, well, I suck. You know who doesn't suck? Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. They have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show coming up. Games at 7 at Rogers Place. Oilers against Utah. Big thanks to Zachary Kubusch. I'm Reid. I'll talk to you after the game.